Chapter 326, The Older, the Less Manners. Chapter 326, The Older, the Less Manners. UCLA's guard stopped Chen Zhao's RV. Stop, stop. Chen Zhao poked his head out. What? I'm a teacher here. Why can't I go in? The guard studied him. He had an impression of Chen Zhao. After all, he always came and went with a bunch of pets. It was hard not to remember him. Why are you driving this car to school? Where's your car for everyday transportation? This is my car, Chen Zhao replied naturally. What? This is your car? You're using an RV as a car? All right, please move. I have to park. If I can't find a spot, I'll park the car in the entrance. Faced with Chen Zhao's threat, the guard could only surrender and move aside. After Chen Zhao parked, Princess shook her fat butt and dragged Briar and Bramble out first. Then Black Ma and White Ma squeezed past the door. Abitos followed closely after. They came out according to size. Chun, are you here yet? Norman's called to threaten him. We've already been soaking in the water for half an hour. If you don't come, I'm going to demand a refund. Okay. I got to the school, but I can't find the pool. Can you take me there? Are you stupid? There are so many people on campus. Just find someone to ask. All right. Chen Zhao had to admit that this was a solution. However, no one dared to approach Chen Zhao with Princess beside him. Black Ma, go get someone. Black Ma zoomed away and bit a student's shirt. The student almost pissed his pants. Chen Zhao walked over. Hey, don't be scared. I just need to ask for directions. Princess sniffed the boy. He raised his hands up high, afraid that this huge beast would bite him. Can you make it go away? The student's legs turned to jello. It's really impolite to make a lady move away from you. Sorry. Okay, can you take me to the pool? Can I refuse? Roar. Princess' roar was deafening. Chen Zhao hurriedly went a steady to the student, so he didn't fall to the ground. Okay, let's go. Just then, Wright and some tall male professors walked over. Chun, how come it's you? Wright was shocked to see Chen Zhao. She heard that someone brought a bear to school, so she brought some teachers over to kick the guy out. She didn't expect that it would be Chen Zhao. Wright looked behind Chen Zhao at the huge princess. She was now more than 800 kilograms. Basically, Chen Zhao would supply as much food as needed, so she grew very quickly. Chun, what is that? A bear? Chen Zhao answered. Her name is Princess. Your pet? Yeah. Why did you bring it to school? It's more troublesome if no one's home taking care of them, so I'm used to bringing them with me. Are you sure it won't hurt anyone? Princess claws were more than 10 centimeters long. They were like small daggers hanging from her paw. It really looked terrifying. If Chen Zhao hadn't been standing there, Wright would have definitely called the cops. I promise she won't hurt anyone. Wright approached her carefully, still feeling scared inside. Are you sure it won't bite me? Right, you should trust me. Fine. Wright finally walked to Princess and reached out to touch her. Princess suddenly stuck out her tongue and licked Wright's palm. Terrified, Wright snatched her hand back. Princess went forward and voluntarily rubbed against Wright. She gathered her courage again and petted Princess' big head. Do you want to try sitting on her? Chen Zhao suggested. What? Are you sure? Wright was afraid but also excited. Of course. Briar, Bramble, come down. Let Granny sit. Chen Zhao went up. He picked Wright up bridal style and set her down on Princess' back. After settling in, Wright completely got over her fear. A little slower, Wright said, and Princess slowed down. It's so smart. Can it understand what I'm saying? Most of it, Chen Zhao said. Where are you going? Swimming pool? For what? I'm meeting friends there. Chen Zhao patted the student beside him. Okay, friend, you can go. Your principal will bring me there. The student wasn't afraid anymore. Even Wright wasn't afraid, so he had nothing to fear. Sitting on Princess' back, the old lady actually turned playful. Princess, you can speed up. A bit faster. Faster. Yeah, just like this. Princess could reach 40 kilometers per hour when she ran. Of course, she was too heavy, so she couldn't maintain that speed. Wright enjoyed this unprecedented fast and furious feeling. All the students and teachers who passed by stared at Wright galloping on a bear. They felt that either the world had gone crazy or they had. Phew. Okay, you can stop now. Wright was thoughtful. She was only 40 kilograms, but bears weren't beasts with great endurance. Their own weight was already a burden. Princess lowered herself so Wright could get off. Good girl. Wright patted Princess' head. She loved Princess now. Seeing Chinzhao walk over from the distance, Wright said, Chun, can Princess be our school mascot? What? I want to print Princess profile on our school flag, and I hope it can come to our sports competition half a month later. Wright already decided that she wanted to ride Princess as her grand entrance. This old lady loved attention. No one could stop her. Of course, each school competed with each other. Not only did they compete in academics and athletics, but the principals also competed with each other. Their everyday conversations were along the lines of, I shot a boar in the mountain today. Tomorrow, I'm going to ace golf. Anyway, the older they got, the less willing they were to admit defeat. Wright already decided that she would ride Princess and show off before those other old guys. They might be respected and serious senior scholars in their own fields, but when they went wild, the youngsters couldn't even compare. The University of California once had a beast domestication major just because a principal was humiliated by an old friend. Chapter 327. We can have a competition, but I want to bet. Chapter 327. We can have a competition, but I want to bet. After overcoming her fear of Princess, Wright started to enjoy the awe-filled stares of others. She simply looked too imposing with Princess beside her. When Princess entered the swimming complex, she caused many people to scream. A man in swimming trunks grabbed a mop in panic and waved it at Princess. Roar! Princess roared and the man sat on the ground in fear. Normans, don't go there. It's a bear. Shocked, Evalie pulled Normans, wanting to escape from the complex. Normans patted Evalie's hand. It's fine. It's that asshole. Indeed, Chun Zhao and Wright walked in from the outside. Shit, beasts ain't allowed in here. The man on the ground shouted. Roar. Princess suddenly stood up. With her 3.5 meters tall body straightened, she looked inviolably majestic. The man turned around and fled at once. Enough, Princess. Stop scaring people. Wright petted Princess, and only then did she lower her body again. Normans approached them. Hello, Doctor. Wright. Normans, long time no see. You don't seem to be afraid of Princess at all. We've met before. Also, Chun has a pet who's much bigger than Princess. Wright immediately turned her head and looked at Chun Zhao. Chun, really? What's bigger than Princess? A rhino? Or an elephant? I'll introduce him to you next time, Chun Zhao said. Wright, thank you for bringing me here. So you came here for Normans? Wright asked. Just then, Evalie walked over. She knew that Chun Zhao and Wright were close friends. Dr. Wright, Chun is the swimming coach I've hired, Evalie said. What? Chin, you want to become a swimming coach? Wright was greatly surprised. Can you? I think so, Chun Zhao said, shrugging his shoulders. You sure? Wright was very doubtful. Just then, the man who had escaped in fear appeared again. Evalie, he's your coach? Canterbury inspected Chun Zhao carefully. Contempt was clearly written all over his face. Originally, Cantor thought that Evalie would hire a retired professional athlete or a coach who had taught famous swimmers before. He did not expect her to actually hire an Asian. Do Asians even know how to swim? Are you sure he can teach you how to swim faster? Cantor said directly before Chun Zhao. Chun Zhao looked at Cantor and then at Normans and Evalie. Don't tell me you asked him to come here to pick on me. Normans rolled her eyes. Do you think I have nothing better to do? Fine. Mister, if you have nothing else, please leave. Chun Zhao did not want to waste any time with Cantor. He clearly had no good intention. Evalie, I think you really should reconsider carefully. Are you sure this Asian isn't a fraud? Both Evalie and Normans frowned. Even Wright looked very much displeased. Mr. Cantor, please mind your language. You're just an external coach, not an official staff of the university. On the other hand, the person whom you just questioned is a lecturer in our college. If you say such words again, I'm happy to fire you and hire a coach who knows humbleness. All right, maybe he's not a fraud. Cantor retreated. Just like what Wright had said, he did not want to lose the job, but it did not mean he would accept Chen Zhao. But I still don't think he's a good coach, especially when it comes to swimming. I'm afraid he can't even beat the girls here, unless he can prove himself. Who are you? Why should I prove anything to you? Or are you just salty that I'm going to be paid 200,000? Wright was stunned. Chun, you're going to get 200,000 from Evely? Yes, it's the price I normally charge. Dr. Wright, do you get it now? Paying 200,000 to an outsider to act as a swimming coach. How ridiculous is that? I didn't ask for it. Evely requested it herself. Even so, I still think that she's just been deceived. Cantor was just being jealous that Chen Zhao was going to get 200,000. As a professional swimming coach, his annual salary was only 30,000. Moreover, Chen Zhao would get to teach Evely, the prettiest girl in the swimming team. Evely would usually not even allow Cantor to go near her. If you want to teach here, you need to prove yourself first. Look at us. Everyone here is close to being a professional swimmer. But what about you? As a swimming coach, you might not even beat the girls here. Which means that if I beat the girls here, I can stay. Is it? Chun Zhao asked. Cantor smiled. He was waiting for this moment. Gina Lisby, come out, Cantor called. A tall and well-proportioned girl walked out. The girl had long limbs and was about 1.75 meters tall. One could tell from the muscles on her arms and thighs that she was a talented swimmer. Only the gifted could become excellent swimmers. Firstly, a good swimmer had to satisfy certain bodily conditions, such as the lengths of the limbs and the sizes of the hands and feet. These would all determine the swimmer's eventual achievements. Evely's expression changed slightly. Noticing it, Normans asked softly, "Is that girl very good?" "She's the best swimmer in the college's female team, especially for medium to long distances. She once made it in 16 minutes for 1,500 meters. Normans looked at Chen Zhao. She knew that Chen Zhao was very strong physically, but he had never truly displayed his swimming speed. She was also unsure if Chen Zhao could beat the girl named Gina. Wright also looked at Chen Zhao. As Chen Zhao Sr., she clearly did not want him to be humiliated. However, Chen Zhao agreed to compete with the girl himself. No matter the result, he would have to face it himself too. "We can have a competition, but I want to bet," Chen Zhao said. "Mr. Cantor, do you dare to bet with me?" "How?" $1,000. "If I win, you must give me 1,000. Cantor looked at Gina and smiled. "Of course." Chapter 328, Congrats on breaking the women's world record. Chapter 328, Congrats on breaking the women's world record. Seeing that Chen Zhao was going to bet again, Normans couldn't decide if she wanted to laugh or cry. Chen Zhao grinned. "You won't say I'm bullying students this time, right?" "Whatever." Normans looked away so she wouldn't have to see. "Let's start," Canterbury urged. Chen Zhao took off his clothes. He wore swim trunks underneath them. Walking to Gina's side, he said, "Lady, should I go easy on you?" Gina looked at him seriously. "Not even the guys on the swim team dare to talk to me like that. That's why I'm not a student." Chen Zhao shrugged. "How far are we swimming?" 1,500 meters, freestyle. Can you do it?" "Of course, no problem." Chen Zhao and Gina stood on the deck and Cantor raised the pistol. "Ready?" Gina already crouched down, but Chen Zhao was still doing warm-ups. "Chen, get ready," Wright reminded. She was more nervous than Chen Zhao, the interested party. But Chen Zhao didn't get serious at all. "It's okay. She's a girl. After all, I have to go easy on her. Plus, you have to warm up fully before swimming. Otherwise, it's easy to get cramps." "Asian, I told you to get ready. Didn't you hear me?" "You can just start," Chen Zhao said, shaking his arm. "Don't have to care about me." Cantor gritted his teeth. His expression was cold. "Since you want to act clever, I'll see how you lose later. Get set." Bang! Gina dove into the water like a swordfish. After traveling underwater for a dozen meters, she charged to the other side. She soon swam 50 meters, and then 100. She was very fast, finishing 150 meters, 200 meters. Finally, when she was about to turn for the second time, Chen Zhao also jumped into the water. He was so fast. Normans and Evely both let out surprised gasps. When Gina swam to 300 meters, Chen Zhao had already swum 150 meters. He was clearly faster than Gina, but Cantor still scoffed. Idiot. This is 1,500 meters, not 50 meters. With his speed now, he'll never get to the end. To him, Gina was using the correct strategy. As long as Gina could maintain this speed, victory would be hers. However, Chen Zhao didn't slow down. He quickly caught up to Gina. By now, they'd swum 700 meters. Gina had already slowed down a bit, but Chen Zhao retained his extremely fast speed. Cantor's expression darkened. Chen Zhao's speed and endurance were better than he'd imagined. When they reached 1,000 meters, Gina was 100 meters behind Chen Zhao. They were one lap apart. This gap was still widening. The result was already obvious. If Chen Zhao could keep going until 1,500 meters, he would definitely win. As for whether he could keep going or not, Normans and Evely didn't doubt he could. This guy was a total beast. He could do 10 times that distance without much effort. Just like how Cantor was worried about, Chen Zhao reached the end first. Gina arrived later, after a full minute. Gina, why is your performance so bad today? Cantor demanded, upset. He messed up my rhythm. Gina wasn't lying. Chen Zhao had indeed disrupted her rhythm. Chen Zhao was clearly faster than her, and every time he passed her, it disturbed her. This caused her to be unable to control her tempo and swim slower and slower. Her best record had been under 16 minutes, but she actually took 17 minutes this time. Usually, differences would only be around 10 seconds, according to the conditions. But this time, she was 1 full minute slower than her best record. It was evident how important rhythm was to a swimmer. Chun, you swam less than 16 minutes, Norman said teasingly. If you add the 200 meters that you gave away, you probably broke the women's world record for 1,500 freestyle. What's there to be proud about breaking the women's world record as a man? Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. He came out of the water and walked to Cantor. Sir, hand over the $1,000. This doesn't count, Cantor exclaimed. Gina is in bad condition today. Beating her is nothing to be proud of. I'm not proud, but I did win. Mr. Cantor, Evely piped up. Even at Gina's best shape, she still can't beat Chen. If you count the 200 meters that Chen had given her, he'd broken the world record. Can Gina break the world record? Chen Zhao really wasn't interested in the women's world record. However, he was interested in Cantor. This guy kept targeting him ever since he came. I want to compete with you, Cantor said. I didn't agree with that. Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. Give me the $1,000 first. I'll obviously give it to you if you win. Mr. Cantor, please keep your promises, right? Said Tu, helping Chen Zhao. We don't need people who don't keep their words in this school. In the end, Cantor took out $1,000 and unwillingly shoved it into Chen Zhao's hands. I still want a round with you. If you're a man, you'll accept my challenge instead of bullying a girl. Cantor knew that Chen Zhao was fast. If he hadn't just competed, Cantor actually wasn't confident in beating him. However, he believed that Chen Zhao had used up most of his energy in the last round, so Cantor was sure he'd win. What? I bullied a girl? Chen Zhao was furious. You were the one who told me to go against her. I even went easy on her. Now you're saying that I bully girls? No matter what, you didn't win fairly. Fine. I'll go against you. Chen Zhao's expression was serious. $5,000. If you dare to accept that bet, then let's go. Cantor's expression changed. $5,000 wasn't a small number, but if he won, he would have made $5,000. I hope you won't regret it, Cantor said, sneering. Chapter 329. Go. You can do it. Chapter 329. Go. You can do it. Chun, are you still all right? Wright knew that an athlete could hardly compete again immediately after a competition. Therefore, she was very worried for Chen Zhao's stamina. Not at all, Chen Zhao said. Are you too tired? No, I just hate swimming competitions, because I can't talk at all. It just sucks to be unable to talk during such a long competition. Evely suddenly recalled that when Chen Zhao was competing with Grint in the long run, he verbally harassed Grint throughout the journey. Her face darkened at once. This asshole is simply unsatiably shameless. Aren't you getting into position? Are you trying to waste time? Cantor urged. Cantor obviously hoped to have the competition as soon as possible. The quicker it happened, the less Chen Zhao's stamina would recover and the more likely he would win. As for fairness, there was no fairness in competitive sports. If there were fairness, foul tactics would not have developed. In any era, only the winners would be remembered. Only the winners could speak. Chen Zhao stood on the platform and glanced at Cantor. Evely looked at Chen Zhao's back. Normans, are you sure he can win Cantor? Cantor isn't slow, and he just swam 1,500 meters. If he can't even swim for such a short distance, why should he charge you 200,000? Normans assured, unworried. Although Normans had said so, Evely still felt that it was risky. She was an 800-meter freestyle swimmer. She knew well how tiring it was to swim 800 meters at full speed. Not far away, Gina had been sitting beside the pool, drinking nutrient water since the end of the competition. One could deduce how exhausting a 1,500-meter freestyle competition was. Swimming 3,000 meters slowly and two 1,500-meter freestyle competitions were two entirely different concepts. Wright was just as anxious as Evely. She was similarly worried about Chen Zhao's stamina. Nevertheless, Chen Zhao, already standing on the platform, was out on a limb. Get ready. Wright gave the command this time. Chen, be more serious. Fine, I'll be serious this time. Chen Zhao finally bent his body properly. Bang! Chen Zhao and Cantor jumped into the water almost simultaneously. No, Cantor was slightly faster. Cantor jumped the gun, Evely said. Doesn't matter. Just wait for the outcome, Norman said calmly. Chen Zhao was too fast. Almost instantly, he was already one body length ahead. He reached 50 meters and turned around first. And then came the second and the third. When Chen Zhao turned for the fourth time, Cantor had only just made his third. Their difference was too obvious. Cantor had already noticed that Chen Zhao was way faster than him. Now, he could only pray that Chen Zhao would run out of stamina halfway. Normans, how much time has passed? Evely asked softly. Normans glanced at the stopwatch in her hand. 6 minutes and 20 seconds. He's already swum 700 meters, right? Yes. If he maintains this speed, he will break the world record. Evely looked at the swimming Chen Zhao. By then, Chen Zhao's speed had decreased slightly. Evely heaved a sigh. She had indeed been overthinking. If a world record could be broken so easily, it would not have been a world record in the first place. Nonetheless, a Chinese had set the world record for men's 1,500-meter freestyle. Is the Chinese really more talented at long-distance freestyle? Finally, Chen Zhao reached the end. Normans pressed the stopwatch. 14 minutes and 12 seconds. Chen Zhao climbed out of the pool. He turned around and looked at Cantor, after which he asked, how many laps has he finished? 12. Mr. Cantor, go. You can do it. Normans rolled her eyes. Chen Zhao finally started to be a bitch. Cantor immediately choked on the water. He realized that Chen Zhao was sitting on the edge of the pool and also stopped. Why are you there? I finished, of course. That's impossible. I've just swum over 1,200 meters. How could you possibly finish so soon? You cheated. Stop bullshitting. So many people are here, watching. How do I even cheat? Chen Zhao said emotionlessly. There were more than 10 people in the complex. Gina also said, Mr. Cantor, Mr. Chen wasn't lying. He really finished the entire distance. Cantor also stopped swimming. He climbed out of the water, ready to leave. Mr. Cantor, did you forget something? What? The bet? I'm not feeling well today, so it doesn't count. It was 5,000. After all, he did not have that much money at the moment. That's none of my business. Take the gamble and pay the loss. 1,500-meter freestyle isn't my forte. I don't care what you're good at. You're going to pay today, Chun Zhao insisted. What if I don't? Then you might not be able to leave this place alive. Princess, who had been lying at the side, stood up and strolled toward them. Black Ma, White Ma, and Abitos also got up, closing in on Cantor. What are you doing? This is blackmailing. Chun, I have something else. Bye, Wright said. Dr. Wright, don't leave. Don't leave me here. This Asian is going to attack me. Sorry, I didn't see anything. Princess had already stood up. Cantor lifted his head and looked at the terrifyingly ferocious beast before him. He swallowed some saliva uncontrollably. I'll write a debt notice. Chun Zhao patted Cantor's shoulder. Sure, but don't forget to pay the interest. Cantor almost vomited blood. What's this? He hated Chun Zhao even more. Puff, feels really relaxed after some exercise. Chun Zhao turned and twisted his neck. Great. Let's start our training. Normans and Evely approached Chun Zhao. Norman said, Chun, can you make me improve in a short period of time? I'm not sure about her, but it's definitely a yes for you. Oh, really? Norman's eyes glowed. Doesn't that mean that I'm more talented? You can go to a hospital for breast reduction surgery. It'll decrease water resistance, and you'll surely improve. Asshole. Normans gritted her teeth in anger, but Evely was not happy either. Didn't Chun Zhao's words mean indirectly that her breasts were small? Actually, Evely's were not small at all. They were just ordinary and not as tremendous as Norman's. Chapter 330. Eradicate completely. Chapter 330. Eradicate completely. What event are you swimming? Chun Zhao asked. Freestyle, Norman said. 50 and 100 meters. And you? Freestyle, 800. Let's test your performance now. Who'll go first? I'll do it, Norman said. Norman's went to test first. Her performance for the 50 meters was 24.12 seconds. This wasn't her best time. For the 100 meters, she got 54 seconds. Next was Evely. For 800 meters freestyle, it took her 8 minutes and 40 seconds. After finishing, she was completely exhausted. Did I let you sit down? Chun Zhao looked at Evely. I'm tired. Can't I rest? Normans, didn't you tell her the rules? Normans glanced at Evely. Don't talk back to this asshole. At least, think about your $200,000. Evely stood up unwillingly and stood before Chun Zhao. Go down and swim 2,000 meters, Chun Zhao ordered. Both of you. Andy Bell, find some men for me. I want to teach someone a lesson. Cantor, who are you teaching a lesson? A motherfucker scammed me $5,000. You want to beat him up on or off campus? Off campus, Cantor answered. Teach him a lesson to what extent? Cantor thought for a moment. Break his arm? That's illegal. Shut up, Andy Bell. Don't think I don't know about you. Fine, but breaking an arm isn't cheap. How much? Cantor asked. $3,000. Cantor considered this and nodded. I accept this, but I have a condition. What is it? Destroy the IOU in his hands. Sure. Okay, today's training is over. We only trained for 2 hours and it's over? Normans looked at him with annoyance. I'm hungry, Chun Zhao answered matter-of-factly. You've been eating by the pool this entire time without stopping, and you say you're hungry? I didn't eat enough, and now I'm even hungrier. Oh, eat whatever you want to eat today. Starting tomorrow, you won't get that freedom. Thinking of that hellish month, Norman's features twitched. Normans, is that guy's training actually effective? You can still back out now. You just paid a $100,000 deposit. If you wait until tomorrow, then we'll really be on the way to hell. Is it that scary? It's scarier than you can imagine. Eat what you can today. Why does it sound like it's our last supper? You can treat it as your last supper. He can't supervise us 24 hours a day. How can he control what we eat? He can't control what we eat, but he can make us not able to eat anything. Impossible. He can't do that unless he imprisons us. That's all I'll say. Good luck. Chun Zhao didn't notice an SUV following his RV. Annabelle, are we really going to attack the owner of that car? Annabelle's face darkened. The guys he found all wanted to back out. It wasn't just them. Even he wanted to back out too. He didn't know the identity or status of their target, but that was a $3 million car. If the target wanted to find them, it wouldn't be hard. Cantor gave them $3,000. There were 8 guys in the car. This meant that each one would get less than $400. Pissing off a millionaire for $400 was clearly a stupid choice. Just then, a guy sitting in the back seat said, "That guy is driving such a nice car. He should be rich, right?" The atmosphere in the car turned ambiguous. They were all ruffians who stole a little or fought every other day to make money for drugs. But now, someone seemed to want to do something even worse. This made some of them feel uncomfortable. But then someone else said, "If we steal the car, we'll be rich." Everyone was tempted, right? They didn't have to kidnap someone. Stealing a car could work too. It was a $3 million car. If they sold it to the black market, even if they couldn't sell it for that price, they could definitely sell it for a few $100,000. Annabelle considered this. "Are you guys serious? Annabelle, are you gonna do it or not? If you're not, then we'll do it alone." To be honest, Annabelle was tempted too. If this really could work out, they'd get a few $100,000. It was also risky though, and they had a lot of people. Not everyone would have the same heart. If anyone leaked information, it would be a disaster for them. In America, you could offend anyone but the wealthy. "Who has a gun?" Annabelle asked. "Annabelle, you want to kill him?" "Just in case." Eyes flashing, Annabelle continued, "Anyone who wants to back out can do it now." "Hey, Chun," Risfar called on the phone. "We captured a dozen guys. You might be interested." Captured a dozen guys? Chun Zhao was confused. What did this have to do with him? Why would he be interested? "They're Mexicans," Risfar said. Chun Zhao furrowed his brows. "Mexicans?" "Yeah. These guys wanted to attack you." "Where?" "There's a street sign around 30 kilometers to the east of Highway 12. Turn left there." "In the desert? A dozen people is troublesome to take care of in the city?" Chun Zhao could tell that Risfar wanted to kill these people. He considered it. This time, he didn't have any of that fake compassion. After all, this gang was too problematic. Even keeping one would cause endless problems. It was better to eradicate them completely. After all, Chun Zhao wasn't alone now. Feilai was with him. If he was threatened, Feilai may be affected as well. Thus, eradicating completely was the best choice. Since Risfar was willing to help him to this extent, there was no reason for Chun Zhao to keep hiding. At the very least, he couldn't stay out of it. "Okay, I'm coming," Chun Zhao said. Chapter 331, Wrath. Chapter 331, Wrath. The east side of Los Angeles was a desert. Of course, it was not like the Sahara, but rather like the Gobi. Every year, the cold air from the coastline would grow as it passed through the dry and hot region. By the time it blew toward the middle and eastern states, it would turn into a hurricane. According to Risfar's guide, Chun Zhao drove onto an abandoned road. The road had probably been built in the 70s or 80s. The yet-to-be-removed billboards on the sides fully illustrated its age. Such a place might not even receive a single visitor in an entire year. After driving for over 10 kilometers, even the road disappeared completely. Only stone fragments remained. Chun Zhao drove the van onto the stony path. It was not totally barren, but filled with some grass. The sea breeze from the southwest would bring some moisture and nourish the soil. Chun Zhao saw a shabby wooden house in front, where a few cars were parked. It had probably been a pasture in the past, but was subsequently abandoned due to increased desertification. Chun Zhao parked the van at the entrance, alighted, and walked into the house. Risfar was inside with his men. On the ground, there were more than 10 Mexicans who had been tied up tightly. Even their mouths were sealed. "Chun, you're here?" Chun Zhao and Risfar hugged briefly. Then, Chun Zhao looked at the Mexicans. "Didn't expect that many." They're a small family. Odutra is an important member among them, but now he's jailed because of you. The new leader of the Mexican gang pushed them out of the gang and snatched their power and money, so they hate you to the moon and back. We found these on them. Risfar opened a bag. Chen Zhao saw many photos of him and Feilai inside. There were also various kinds of guns and ammunition, even grenades and self-made bombs. When Chen Zhao saw these, he broke out in cold sweat. If they had used all these on Chen Zhao and Feilai, they would probably have died. I feel cold. One of Risfar's men suddenly made a ridiculous remark. Risfar frowned. Even though it was February, they were in a desert. In the day, the temperature was at least 86 Fahrenheit. Chun. Risfar pushed Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao was jolted back to reality at once. Huh, what happened? What happened to you? Chen Zhao rubbed his forehead. I'm fine. Johnny, leave with your men. What? Risfar was clearly puzzled. You want to let them go? Or you want to kill them yourself? Chun, listen to me. Let my people bury them. It's the best way. Risfar felt that even if Chen Zhao wanted to kill them, he would be unable to bury all the corpses himself. He might as well let Risfar's men do it. They could dig a large pit and bury all the gang members. Nobody would ever discover the missing Mexicans. I know what to do. Chen Zhao sounded cold. Chen Zhao was very clear-headed at the moment, but he was just not in the right state. He recalled the night when Jonal and Bart broke into his house and attempted to rape Feilai. He was also in a state of wrath. At the moment, the same emotion appeared again. Chen Zhao felt that he was in a strange condition, as if the rage from both occasions had combined. He tried his best to suppress his anger, afraid that he would lose control. Therefore, he hoped that Risfar and his men could leave when he could still control himself. Chen, my men and I will wait for you on the road outside. Okay. Chen Zhao stood before the group of Mexicans. A patch of shadow appeared behind him. The Mexicans were even more horrified as they kept making muffled sounds. However, their mouths were sealed by tape and they could not speak at all. Risfar was somewhat worried. Chen Zhao seemed very unusual. After some consideration, he said to his men, "Go to the other cars and leave. I'll drive back and check on Chun." "Boss, I'll be fine. Just leave." Risfar chased all his men from the car, after which he drove toward the house. The house was in complete silence. Risfar was very confused. Has Chen Zhao not started to kill them yet? He alighted from the car. At the instant he pushed the door open, he saw a black thing behind Chen Zhao's back. "Chun, you." Immediately, the darkness behind Chen Zhao vanished. Chen Zhao also woke up at once. "Johnny, why are you back again? I'm worried for you. Aren't you going to kill them?" Risfar looked at the people on the ground. Horror was written all over their faces. It was as if they had just seen a monster. Did they see it too? Suddenly, they heard a car stop outside. Bang! Before Risfar knew it, he was shot in the back. Chen Zhao quickly dashed forward and hugged Risfar. In the next instant, a dark shadow appeared behind Chen Zhao and expanded wildly. A black, one-winged lion charged out from the darkness. There was only one emotion on the one-winged lion: wrath. Andy Bell and the other 7 people had already decided to kill Chen Zhao and snatch his van. Hence, when they alighted from the car, Andy Bell fired his gun directly. Only after killing Chen Zhao would they think about retreating. The person he shot was not Chen Zhao. However, since they had the plan, they would not care if they had to kill one person or two. Just then, a black thing broke through the door of the wooden house. It was a black lion, but it had a wing on its back. The lion started to attack them without hesitation. Andy Bell and his friends fired in shock. But it was useless. Bullets did not slow the lion at all. Andy Bell was the first. The black lion tore him to pieces. "Run." The black lion just stood still and looked at the 7 escaping gangsters. As the 7 people ran, they suddenly stopped. Then, a black man leaped at another person. "Dave, you fucked my woman, right? You fucking adulterer. Go and die." "Mill, you broke my new phone last time, right? It's definitely you." Don't explain. You asshole. I'm gonna kill you. You snatched my woman. You ate the jelly in the fridge. Stop shouting at me. I'm not your pawn. The 7 gangsters all went mad. They began to attack and smash each other with the rocks on the ground. It was as if they were all irreconcilable enemies. They had forgotten about pain, and there was only one emotion on their faces: wrath. Chapter 332, Meow. I am the King of Wrath. Chapter 332, Meow. I am the King of Wrath. The dozen people in the room didn't have horror on their faces anymore either. Instead, it was fury. One of them broke the rope around him, but instead of attacking Chen Zhao, he pounced on the man beside him. It's all your fault. If you let me be the boss, we wouldn't have been held back by that stupid Odutra and lose everything. It's all your fault. All your fault. The others all broke their ropes and attacked each other as if they lost all reason. Chen Zhao treated Risfar while looking at the madmen both inside and outside. They might have had some small problems before, but it all turned into harsh murderous intent now. The Blackwing Lion was undoubtedly a demon. However, it started shrinking. Slowly, his body went from a lion to a small cat. Even the wing disappeared in the end, and it became a true kitty. Meow. The laws of the human world had started restricting him and his power. The restraint was the strongest on him, though. Beelzebub had at least become a Shar-Pei, but this guy turned directly into a kitty. You're probably the subordinate of Wrath, Chen Zhao thought. Meow, meow. Human, don't you know to kneel before me, the king? Another conceited demon? Chen Zhao made a face. If you don't understand that you're my servant, get the fuck back to hell. Blasphemy. Do you not know who I am? Chen Zhao lifted up the small cat. Okay, tell me who you are right now. I am Samuel. I am no one's subordinate. I am Samuel, the King of Wrath. I don't believe you. You don't look like a demon lord at all. Chen Zhao didn't believe him. Let go. You're not allowed to squeeze my chin. Otherwise, I'll rip you apart. Chen Zhao smothered the kitty's face with his palm. He didn't worry about hurting the animal. This guy was clearly a projection, so this cat wasn't his true body. Even if Chen Zhao killed the cat, the demon's true body would still be unharmed. Chen. Just then, Risfar woke up. He turned his head with difficulty. What is happening? They're suddenly killing each other. Chen Zhao shrugged. I think I just saw a weird creature with wings. Your vision has problems, Chen Zhao said. I'm going to call Laura. Don't call Laura. But you're injured. I'm not scared with you here. How many days will it take to recover? 3 days. Seems like I'll have a business trip for 3 days. Risfar looked at the small cat in Chen Zhao's hands. Where's that from? Found it. Chen Zhao answered casually. Maybe one of them had it. Chen Zhao carried Risfar onto the car. Who was the one that shot me? Risfar asked. I don't know, but it's not me, Chen Zhao said definitely. Wait, I'll go clean this up and then set it on fire. No need. Give me my phone. I'll have someone come clean it up and check who shot me. Master, come here. Carrie suddenly ran to Chen Zhao's feet and bit the cuff of his pants. Chen Zhao looked down at her and said to Risfar, lay down and rest. I'll go up for a second. When Chen Zhao went upstairs, he saw the group of demons all prostrated on the ground, heads and limbs touching the ground. They formed a circle around the small cat. Even the lawless Abitos did the same. Chen Zhao was dumbfounded. What are you all doing? Master, talk softly. You should respect King Samuel. King Samuel? Who? Beelzebub shot him a look. Him. Chen Zhao picked up the little cat. Don't tell me you really are Samuel, the King of Wrath? Human. You're still so unmannered. Have you heard of dragon tiger soup? What? Your Majesty, Raymond said timidly. That's making soup with cat and snake? Samuel was pissed. He reached out a paw to scratch Chen Zhao, but he was too small. He couldn't reach Chen Zhao at all. You better behave in my territory. I don't care how respected you are in hell. Here, if you don't listen to me, I don't mind becoming a cat abuser. You think I'll submit to you? Chen Zhao took out an angelic crystal. All the other demons escaped instantly. Only Samuel was stuck in Chen Zhao's grasp, unable to flee. I'll make you a beautiful cat bed filled with angelic crystals. You'll be able to experience a different kind of demon life. Truce, truce. Let's stop fighting. I've decided that I would like to interact with you peacefully. The King of Wrath wants peace. How about no? Isn't this too hard on you? Not hard at all. Samuel's smile was very forced. Even as a powerful demon king, he still had to act according to the situation. He wasn't the undefeatable demon in hell anymore. He was just a weak projection with a heartless master like Chen Zhao. The other demons still had to survive in hell, so they had to respect him. Chen Zhao didn't have to, though. He didn't care about Samuel's opinion at all. Demons still had to bow down in the house. You guys, tell him my rules. You, come tell me that human. Chen Zhao hadn't gone downstairs yet. He turned around and Samuel immediately corrected himself. Master's rules. Risvar planned on living in a hotel for a few days, so Chen Zhao brought him to the hotel room. Then he gave Risvar another checkup. No matter what, Risvar had gotten hurt because of him. Chen Zhao owed him big time. He felt guilty too. Johnny, rest well. I'll visit you tomorrow. Okay. When Chen Zhao got home, he finally let out a relieved sigh after the eventful day. The first thing that Kitty Samuel did after entering the house was to mark his territory. From now on, this is where I will sleep. Chen Zhao and the other friends all looked at him, speechless. You really know how to choose places. Chen Zhao looked at him. What, is this not allowed? Samuel still looked at him proudly. Fine. If you want to sleep there, then sleep there, Chen Zhao said, not caring. He turned to leave. Raymond, that human's tone is odd. Is there something special about this place? Chapter 333. A Demon King's goal should be to destroy the world. Chapter 333. A Demon King's goal should be to destroy the world. King Samuel. It's a pan used for frying. What's frying? It's basically a place where humans make food. What? I just picked a place where humans make food? Samuel's fur stood up again. Calm down. Calm down. King Samuel. Raymond quickly comforted. Fine. Follow me to check out the place. Samuel chose another place. How about here? King Samuel. This is where humans defecate. Here? It's a fridge, a place where humans store food. Suddenly, a carton landed before Samuel. As if it was his instinct, Samuel immediately jumped into the carton. Huh, what happened? Samuel looked at Chen Zhao. Who? Master, what spell did you cast on me? Why did I jump into the carton uncontrollably? Chen Zhao rolled his eyes. Indeed, whenever a demon turned into an animal, it would automatically possess the relevant instincts. It'll be your home from now on. What? This tattered box? It's a humiliation to my identity. But it seems you like it a lot. I'm hungry. Chen Zhao found a milk bottle. Faith had left it here, and Chen Zhao had nothing better to give to Samuel at the moment. In the courtyard, Chen Zhao lay against Princess, looking at Samuel sucking the milk bottle which was half his size. Samuel, have you never been to the human world before? No. By the way, I heard from the other demons that whenever you demons come here, you'll contaminate the human world. Since you're a demon king, you should be able to do the same, right? Didn't I contaminate that region when I arrived? All the humans were contaminated with my wrath. And then? Then the principals came and suppressed my power. But why did you become so weak? I'm a weak projection, I agree. Beelzebub and the rest are also subordinates of the 7 sins, but they're not as weak as you are. The stronger a demon's true form is, the more he will be suppressed. As an analogy, if a normal soldier enters a hostile country, the country may send a soldier to arrest him. However, if it's a general, the hostile country will send an army. Your power is to make people angry, right? I'm the great Samuel. Do not think I'm that simple. Chen Zhao threw a small ball out, and Samuel instantly leaped at it. Human. You? Huh. Master, what spell did you cast on me? Why couldn't I control myself? You said you're not simple. What other abilities do you have? I'm the only demon king that can grant power to others. Even in the human world, my power is limitless. How? Show me. Samuel began to stare at Chun Zhao, and Chun Zhao also waited patiently for Samuel's power to act. However, after a long while, nothing happened. Excuse me? My power can't affect you, Samuel sighed, discouraged. You're a strange human. Can you cast it on Princess? Of course. Samuel looked at Princess, who was behind Chun Zhao. Suddenly, Princess stood up and a fierce look appeared on her face. Is it working? Yes. Every individual has a certain threshold, above which he or she will be devoured by fury. So there's a side effect. Chun Zhao patted Princess's back. Only then did she calm down slowly. To be blunt, Samuel's power was like a stimulant. His power could stimulate the target, increasing his or her power for a short duration. However, if he used too much power, the target would lose control emotionally. Wrath would consume all rationality. Feels so useless. Chun Zhao twitched his lips. What? You said my power is useless? Yes, very useless indeed. Not as useful as Beelzebub's or Raymond's ability, or Carrie's, or even the sloth power of Amon Beria. Tell me who your enemies are. I'll go and kill all of them now. I want to prove that I'm more useful than all of them. I don't have enemies, and I also don't need you to kill anyone for me. I'm a doctor. Can you think of a way to apply your power to medicine? Fine. Maybe I can't help you to save people, but I have many large demons under me. They can help you. Please. I can't summon them, and even if I can, it's their power, not yours. They're my men. Their power is my power. How do I summon them? Why don't you become my believer? Become a believer of the King of Wrath, and you shall receive indefinite honor. I'll grant you power like you've never seen before. Chun Zhao finally received his first normal demon. What should a normal demon be like? He should aim to either rule the world or destroy the world. Samuel was unlike the other demon pets Chun Zhao had, who only knew how to obtain free food. Why do you want believers? Isn't it obvious? The more believers I have, the stronger I will be in the human world. If I have a sufficiently large pool of believers, the entire human world will be mine to rule. By then, you'll be my spokesperson. How's that? Did catnip destroy your brain already? What's catnip? Chun Zhao took out his phone. Feilai, when you come back, go to the supermarket and buy a pot of catnip. Do we have a cat? Picked up a little cat on the way. Soon, Feilai came back. When she saw Samuel, she could not help but display her maternal love. She grabbed Samuel and kept rubbing him. Human, save me, quick. This woman is so scary. Help me. Meow. Chun, look, he likes me. How did you tell that he likes you? Chun Zhao criticized silently. Nevertheless, he was happy that Feilai liked Samuel. Feilai, did you buy catnip? Yes, it's in the car. Go and take it. Indeed, Feilai had bought 2 big pots of catnip. As Chun Zhao carried them to the courtyard, Samuel moved. He struggled away from Feilai's embrace and rushed to the catnip. Immediately, his face was filled with enjoyment. It'll be amazing if my true body can experience such superior enjoyment too. Just as expected, even a demon king could not resist catnip. Chun Zhao thought that Samuel might have just become the first demon king addict. If you really want, I'll bring some for you the next time I visit hell. You can go to hell? I need someone I know to summon me from there. Oh, I get it. Take a token from you, and then summon you with it. Should have thought of it earlier. Chapter 334, Winnip's Invitation. Chapter 334, Winnip's Invitation. Mr. Chun, the frame and main body of your house is complete. Felwood was calling Chun Zhao. You can come take a look when you're free? Okay, I'll come when I can. Feilai grabbed a bear and joined Chun Zhao in Princess arms. Ever since Princess came to their family, she became their personal sofa. Nothing was softer or bouncier than her body. Who called? Mr. Felwood, Chun Zhao said. Our new home is almost done? How soon is almost? In about a month. Chun Zhao thought about it. Only interior design was left. One more month. Fei Lai was a bit let down. No matter how this place was, it still wasn't their home. We're almost there. We'll have a new home soon. Chun Zhao thought that it was about time to ask Bant about ordering furniture. Just then, his phone rang again. Hello? Chun. It's me, Winnip. Winnip, good evening. Fei Lai glanced at him. Why was her mother calling Chun Zhao? Is Fei Lai beside you? Yes. Do you need to speak to her? Just turn on speakerphone, Winnip said. Hi, Mom. It's almost your dad's birthday, Winnip said. Are you two free on the 18th? Fei Lai glanced at Chun Zhao, who immediately nodded. Yes, I'm free. We'll go visit Sacramento for a few days, Fei Lai said. Sacramento was where the California state government was. The headquarters of Winnip's supermarket chain was also located there. After hanging up, Fei Lai looked at Chun Zhao, asking, Chun, are you sure you have time? Of course. I promise. Chun Zhao hated Laurent. If possible, he obviously wouldn't go celebrate Laurent's birthday. However, he was Fei Lai's father. So what if Chun Zhao hated him? Sacramento was only 600 kilometers away from L.A. It was only a 1-hour flight. If they drove, it wouldn't be over 7 hours either. Should we drive there? Fei Lai asked. This way, we can bring Princess and the others. If we go by plane, we'll have to leave them here. Sure. Chun Zhao nodded. Oh, I think we should get a driver. Driver for what? Drive the car, obviously. This way, we can play in the back. Who would be willing to drive for us? 4, obviously. She can be our driver. Since it's your dad's birthday, she has to go too. Oh, that's a good idea. There were still a dozen days before Laurent's birthday though, so they weren't in a hurry. Next day. After Fei Lai went to work, Chun Zhao first went to the hotel to check on Risfar. He'd recovered quite well. After all, Chun Zhao cared for him personally and used his special ointment. After that, Chun Zhao went to UCLA. When he reached the pool, someone came out hurriedly and crashed into him. You're okay? Cantor froze when he saw Chun Zhao. Oh, it's Mr. Cantor. Are you ready to pay me back? Chun Zhao smiled, but inside, he wondered what Cantor meant by you're okay. I'm busy. Don't have time. Cantor looked like he was in a hurry. Looking at his back, Chun Zhao narrowed his eyes. This guy was a bit weird. Just then, Norman's hit Chun Zhao's back. What are you standing there for? Procrastinating again? Chun Zhao shook his head. Come on, let's start today's practice. Evely had already changed into her swimsuit and had been waiting by the pool for a long time. Swim 10 laps as a warm-up. 2 hours later, Chun Zhao brought over 2 servings of food. He'd prepared it himself. Of course, he'd also added some special ingredients to the food. Okay, this is your lunch. Chun Zhao placed it before Evely and Norman's. This isn't enough. Don't you know how exerting swimming is? Evely saw that her lunch was mostly fruits with a bit of meat and fish. This was definitely not enough for her. If she only ate this little, she would be exhausted by the afternoon. On the other hand, Norman's dug in without complaint. She was used to Chun Zhao's tricks. No complaints or struggles were effective. Plus, she'd asked for this training, so she had no reason to refuse or fight back. She knew that it was useless, just like how Evely's complaints were useless now. After lunch, Chun Zhao had them continue to practice while he went to sleep in the RV. Norman's, I'm still hungry. Let's go eat. No, stay here and practice. You were the one who wanted him to be your coach, but now you're going against his orders. I'm not going against his orders. I don't have the energy to train. How do I train if I didn't eat enough? I'll continue training. If you want to eat, go eat by yourself. Fine. If that asshole comes back, don't say I want to eat. Just say I went to the bathroom. I know. Evely put on her jacket and ran straight out of the pool. She bought a bunch of snacks from the school supermarket and sat on the grass, ready to start. But as soon as she took a bite, she felt nauseous. What was going on? Why didn't she have an appetite? It must not be her taste. She switched to a sandwich, but she spat it out after a bite. She couldn't drink anything either. She couldn't eat any of the food. How could this be? Why didn't she want to eat it all? Evely wanted to cry. She'd spent so much money on snacks and had wanted to eat happily. In the end, she couldn't eat anything. Just as she was about to throw it all out, Beelzebub ran over, drooling with his tongue hanging. Evely was pushed down. Princess had crashed into her from behind. All of the food was scattered on the ground. Soon, Chen Zhao's pet army started their robbery. Evely turned around and saw Chen Zhao standing there. Why are you here? I didn't eat anything. I know. Back to the pool. Start training again. After returning to the pool, Evely felt extreme hunger. Extreme hunger. Seeing her get in the water, Norman swam over to her. Did you feel like you couldn't eat anything and then get hungry after you get back? Yes, what's going on? You feel this too? No, I don't, but I know this feeling. That asshole put something in our food. If we eat behind his back, we'll feel nauseous if we try eating anything. But as soon as we leave food, we'll feel hungry. We can only eat what he agrees to or forces us to eat. Chapter 335, Gang. Chapter 335, Gang. Evely finally knew what hell felt like. She could not even object now. She spent 200,000 to experience hell. As a punishment, she had much more training than Norman's today. Norman's, you can come up and rest for 10 minutes. Evely, continue to swim 20 laps at the usual speed. Why do I have to swim for another 20 laps? You're doing 800 meters freestyle, while Norman's is doing 50 and 100 meters. Your training is obviously different. Evely was speechless. She could only work hard and finish the 20 laps. Flutter kick for 10 minutes. Header, 100 times. 50 meters charge, 10 times. All right, come up and have your second meal. Chen Zhao clapped his hands. Norman's and Evely climbed out of the water. They both had their own food. Chen Zhao would not let them train with an empty stomach. Why do I have less food than Norman's? I had more training than her. Stop asking why. I decide how much you eat, Chen Zhao said as if it was normal. It's a revenge for me sneaking out just now. Well, if you really want to take it that way, Meow. Be angry. Your wrath shall be my power. Chen Zhao suddenly lifted Samuel with his hand. Stop making trouble here. Go to the side and play by yourself. The two wolfed down their second meal and began training again. A real athlete would eat about 10 meals on a day with training. Of course, all the meals were nutritionally balanced and not too filling. In this way, the athlete could turn the nutrition into energy during training. At the same time, the food eaten would not hinder his or her training. Every hour, Chen Zhao would prepare a nutritious meal for the two. Norman's had already consumed diluted strength potion before. Therefore, she was very fit and also had a very large appetite. Of course, the strength potion also gave her more stamina. At least, she was much fitter than she used to be. In her nutritious meals this time, Chen Zhao had added slightly more strength potion. The amount of strength potion in Evely's food was what Norman's used to have. After 4 hours of training, Chen Zhao gave them their last nutritious meal for the day. After finishing this, don't eat anything else for the day. Who will listen to you? Evely cursed silently. Chen Zhao was about to change his clothes when he received a call from Risfar. Chen, I did some investigation. The group of people yesterday was there for you. What? You sure? They are members of a local gang, led by a person called Andy Bell. He's a staff in the infirmary of UCLA. Canterbury hired him to beat you up. Then why did he shoot you? Perhaps it was a sudden plan. You looked rich, so he wanted to kill you and take your van. In the end, they shot me instead. Chen Zhao gave a bitter smile. These gangsters really did not have a bottom line. As if beating someone up was not bad enough, they actually changed their plan to a worse one. I killed them. Will the gang find me for revenge? Chen Zhao was worried that there would be another Mexican gang. If they came to him head-on, he would not be scared. However, he was fearful that they would attack him from behind or assault his family and friends. Risfar thought about it and said, I'll ask a person to accompany you to see the gang leader. He can solve this kind of problem. Boss Seely. Canterbury swallowed some saliva. He was facing a real gang leader at the moment. Yes, sit. Seely Dirk pointed at the chair opposite him. Cantor did not dare to sit. He still stood before Seely, bending his body forward slightly. A few of my men disappeared after leaving yesterday. I heard they went out to do something for you. Do you know where they went? Boss Seely, I do not know. Cantor regretted asking Andy Bell for help despite knowing that he was involved in a gang. In the end, Andy Bell really asked the gang to help, but he disappeared. Cantor had no idea what had happened to them. They want to take some goods for me. Now they have the goods, but I can't find them. Can you tell me what you asked them to do? I asked Andy Bell to beat an Asian up. Oh, what kind of Asian? A lecturer in the college. Is it done already? No, I met that Asian today. He's still fine. Seely Dirk thought about it. It seemed that his people had yet to beat the Asian up. Where's Andy Bell? He didn't come to the college today. Seely suspected that his men had colluded with Andy Bell to pocket the goods and then disappear. Call Andy Bell now. Cantor called Andy Bell, but it did not go through. Boss, I can't get to him. Seely slowly knocked the table with his finger, his face filled with some anger. Just then, Seely's phone rang. Hello? Are you Seely Dirk? Yes, and you're? Seely frowned. He did not know why the person on the phone dared to call him by his name. I'm Manus. Manus? Seely suddenly shivered. Which Manus? You got those guns last time from my men, Manus said. Seely was shocked out of his wits. Why is it him? Why did he call me? Seely did not recall having offended Manus before. Apart from buying guns from Manus' men twice, they had no connection with each other. Anyway, most of the gangs in Los Angeles would get their guns from Manus. Mr. Manus, how may I help you? Seely asked carefully. Where are you now? You mean my current position? I'm in my territory, a restaurant at the corner of Sick District. Wait for me there. I'll be there in 5 minutes. 5 minutes? Which means Manus is in Sick District now. Seely guessed why Manus wanted to see him. To take his territory? It was very unlikely. Manus only had big businesses and would not be interested in his unprofitable district. So many gangs in Los Angeles were purchasing arms from Manus. Would he even need a territory? The answer was clearly negative. Furthermore, if he really needed a territory, he would not have informed Seely. Chapter 336, Complexion. Chapter 336, Complexion. Just then, Seely Dirk heard screeching brakes outside. It seemed that a lot of cars were parked outside the restaurant. He furrowed his brows tightly. They were so fast. It had been less than 2 minutes. Quite a lot of people had arrived too. Seely didn't know why they'd come for him. Just then, a large group of men in black walked in. They gestured at the servers, who started asking the other customers to leave. The group glanced at Seely's group. They were all very nervous. One of the guys even put his hand into his pocket, and Seely freaked out. Are you crazy? Take your hand out. Don't do anything stupid. A man in black walked over to them. Take your guns out. I said, everyone, take your guns out. Take them out, Seely hurriedly said to his men. He put his own on the table and the man in black took it. A while later, 2 more men came out. When Cantor saw one of them, he lowered his head and hid behind one of Seely's men. He was scared he'd be recognized. When Seely saw them, he quickly stood up. Hello, Mr. Manus. Manus glanced at him and said, This is my boss friend, Mr. Chun. Seely knew that Manus had very powerful channels. He could get practically any type of weapons, but no one knew about his background. Hearing that even Manus had a boss, Seely's blood chilled even more. Hello, Mr. Chun. Yesterday, when my boss and Mr. Chun were together, someone shot at them. I investigated and learned that they're your men. Of course, you don't have to look for them anymore, because they're already sunk in the sea now. Shouldn't you give me an explanation? Seely almost knelt down in fear. His men had injured Manus' boss? This was like the end of the world to him. Manus, I don't know. Don't know? Is that your last words? It's him. Seely suddenly cried. It's him. He pointed at Cantor, who was hiding in the group behind him. It's him. He hired my men. I didn't know anything about this. Cantor's legs turned into jelly from fear. Qin Zhao looked toward him. Cantor, we meet again? Cantor fell to the ground. He didn't have the strength to stand up anymore. Who would have thought that this Asian was so terrifying? Mr. Chen, I'm sorry. It's my fault. I admit it. I hated you. So I got some men to beat you up, but I definitely didn't want you to be killed. Mr. Chun, how do you think we should punish him? Make him need to be in a wheelchair for 3 months. Chun Zhao didn't want Cantor to be killed. After all, the man only wanted to beat him up. They had a grudge, but it wasn't enough for death. Seely Dirk, what about you? Manus, I will do anything I can to follow your orders. I really didn't know about this. I have nothing against you or your boss. I don't care if you have anything against me or my boss for now, but your men threaten Mr. Chen's safety. Don't you think you should compensate him? Yes. Mr. Chun, please accept this check. I'll take the money, Qin Zhao said, but I hope similar things won't happen in the future. Of course, I can't promise anything about other streets, but you can rest assured in my streets. Mr. Chun, what do you think? Manus asked. This is fine. Risfar had just gotten Manus today to give him a strong presence. Qin Zhao wouldn't actually kill all the guys in the gang. They didn't have any conflicts. Qin Zhao couldn't bring himself to do it either. Leaving the restaurant, Qin Zhao stuffed the check into Manus' hands. Manus, help me donate this to an institution for the disabled. Mr. Chun, anything else? No. Thank you, Manus. No problem. It was boss orders. As soon as Qin Zhao parked outside of Ethan's motel, he had already run out. Wow. Ethan's voice didn't match his age. Chun, where did you get this? Please, how old are you? Can you not be so dramatic? Is this really your car? Where'd you get it? Stole it. Qin Zhao rolled his eyes. Just then, Princess came down. Bear. Her name is Princess. Those two behind her are her kids. Ethan was speechless. She's huge. Princess Intelligence assured Ethan. He cared more about the RV. Chun, lend me the car and I can definitely get a young woman every day. Fuck off. I'll never lend this car or let you mess around in it. Then don't think about getting free food here anymore. Qin Zhao slammed a check down on the counter. This enough? Ethan picked it up. $100,000. I took care of the troublesome client from last time. Amazing. Chun, I love you. Fuck off. Don't kiss me. Just then, Li Qing walked over. Auntie Li, you don't look too well today. Li, do you feel unwell? Should I give you 2 days break so you can rest? Ethan also saw that Li Qing was in a bad state. She had dark circles. I'm okay. I probably didn't sleep well. Li Qing smiled. Auntie Li, sit down. I'll give you a checkup. I'm okay. There's no need. Li, sit down. You know Chun is a great doctor. Chun Zhao pulled Li Qing over and checked her pulse. Did you not eat breakfast? I don't have the appetite. Qin Zhao furrowed his brows. Earlier, he'd only thought that Li Qing didn't sleep well, but it seemed to affect her appetite too. Qin Zhao took out a stethoscope. Her heartbeat wasn't steady. Her internal functions seemed to be disrupted too. Auntie Li, drink this. Is this medicine? I'm not sick. This is for nutrients, not medicine, Qin Zhao said. Go rest for 2 days. Have Ethan give you a break. Right. You've been working here for so long, and Ethan hasn't given you a break yet? This damn capitalist. You should sue him. Bastard, how are you my friend? Mr. Chun, this is the piece knot I made recently. Here you go. Meow. Chapter 337, Heavy Spending. Chapter 337, Heavy Spending. It smells of angel blessing, Samuel said. Chun Zhao took the peace knot and Samuel touched it with his paw. The peace knot contains this woman's spiritual power. That's why she's so weak. Chun Zhao thought, could Li Qing be a physiognomist or something? The smell of angel blessing could be due to a spell. Li Qing had spent her own energy and spirit to make the peace knot, which could explain her current condition. Annie Li, is this useful for you? When Chun Zhao took out an angelic crystal, Samuel immediately jumped away from his arms. Some surprise flashed across Li Qing's eyes. You want to give it to me? It must be precious. Annie Li, take it. It's of no use to me anyway. Mr. Chun, this is very precious. Since you know what it is, you have to know its use. It'll be more useful in your hands. Take it. Li Qing's eyes glittered. She bit her lower lip for a while. All right, I'll take it for now. If you need it next time, come and find me. What's this stone? Looks pretty. Is it expensive? Go away. Don't connect everything with money. Perhaps because Ethan's burger was the first food Chun Zhao had in America, he could not forget its taste, just like how he could not forget that Ethan had given him shelter. You eat half of my burgers every day? I'm leaving. Don't walk me out. Only a ghost will walk you out. Chun Zhao went to the Mirror Lake. Felwood Cisco's project was in good progress. When Chun Zhao arrived, he saw a preliminary white building standing by the lake. Nevertheless, there were still many workers entering and leaving the building. The main body of the villa had already been completed. The team only had to trim the surrounding environment, cover the place with greenery, and finish the interior decoration. Unlike the main body, whose construction could be sped up with sufficient manpower and machinery, interior decoration could not be accelerated. Hence, it would surely take more time. Mr. Chun, is this your van? Felwood was surprised by Chun Zhao's RV. After all, nobody would travel with an RV. However, he understood Chun Zhao at once when he saw pets of various sizes alight from the vehicle. Nevertheless, it caused him to reassess Chun Zhao's wealth. A person who could afford such an RV would definitely own no less than 10 million. Felwood brought Chun Zhao to the different parts of the site, explaining the situation to him. Soon, Bant also arrived. He introduced Chun Zhao to his business partner, Du Na. Chun Zhao heard that Bant and Du Na were born in the same year and had been friends since they were young. Bant was slightly bigger in size, while Du Na was somewhat short. Du Na was an excellent carpenter. Anyway, Bant praised Du Na very enthusiastically. Du Na had been a prop master in Hollywood and also done some woodcrafts subsequently. After visiting the interior of the villa, Du Na and Bant began to discuss with Chun Zhao about what kind of furniture and decoration he needed, as well as the price range. Chun, you want a circular bed 3 meters in diameter in the master bedroom, right? Chun Zhao nodded. The master bedroom was on the 3rd floor and faced the Mirror Lake directly. The side facing the lake had floor-to-ceiling windows arranged in an arc. A rectangular bed would only destroy the aesthetic view. Thus, Chun Zhao felt that he could have a circular bed. The 3 meters diameter would be sufficient for Chun Zhao and Fei Lai to play all they wanted. The custom-made furniture in the master bedroom alone cost over $10,000. The final cost of $130,000 also exceeded Chun Zhao's expectation. The cost was after Bant's discount. At the same time, Du Na also promised to make some wood handicrafts for Chun Zhao as gifts. The entire villa, with 2 floors in the basement and 3 floors on top, had a floor area of over 1,400 square meters. Actually, normal custom-made furniture would not be that expensive. However, Chun Zhao wanted them to be moisture-proof. He asked for his furniture to be made from moisture-proof wood, resulting in a higher price. Chun Zhao paid a $40,000 deposit and also signed the contract. While Chun Zhao and Bant were really close friends, Americans are always very strict when it comes to business and cooperation. They still had to sign a contract. Every time Chun Zhao spent all his money, he would feel rather empty. This would motivate him to earn more. The next day, Chun Zhao went to the UCLA swimming pool. Evely, looks like you didn't have a good rest yesterday. Evely looked at Chun Zhao, gritting her teeth. You don't say. What did you do to me? I didn't even eat breakfast. Standing beside her, Norman's looked very calm. She had seen it coming. Can't you see the breakfast I'm holding? It's not enough. Give me some more. Evely gobbled up her breakfast, but she was still not full. She wanted to make up for the missing dinner the previous day. Your next meal is 1 hour into training. Let's start training. Go. 50 meters dash, 10 times. Just then, Right entered the swimming complex. Chun Zhao approached Right. Right, you look great today. I didn't disturb your training, did I? Of course not. It's your territory. Are you free in the afternoon? A professor in the medical school is ill. Can you go and substitute him for a lecture? Zhao thought about it. Sure, I'm free in the afternoon anyway. I thought you were going to reject again. Am I that unfriendly? All right, I won't disturb your play anymore. Please. Zhao scratched his cheek. Do I look like I'm playing? Evely, you're being lazy. Don't explain. I can tell. 10 more rounds. After an hour, Normans and Evely climbed out of the pool. Eat this, rest for 20 minutes, and then let's test your speed. It's just been 1 day of training. Do you expect an improvement? Evely rolled her eyes. Also, we've just had an hour of training. If you want to test, we need to rest for at least 3 hours to recover. Just shut up and take the test. Evely gave a humph in dissatisfaction. Give it your all. If I discover that you're not trying your best, you can be ready to go hungry for the entire day. I have my professional ethics. I won't do such a childish thing. Why didn't I see your ethics when you blocked me with the other students that day? Chapter 338, Teach Class. Chapter 338, Teach Class. When Normans and Evely were eating, Cantor walked in. Today, he was covered in injuries and even had a cane. Mr. Chun, I'm here to pay you back. He finally learned that it wasn't easy to owe Zhao money. His biggest mistake wasn't owing the money but being unwilling to accept the fate and cause a bunch of trouble for himself. He couldn't even stay in L.A. anymore. Seeley had announced that if Cantor appeared in L.A. anymore, Seeley would chop him up to feed the sharks. After Cantor left, Evely and Normans looked at Zhao with strange eyes. You beat him up? Nonsense. I don't do that kind of thing. I'm a pacifist. The girls rolled their eyes in unison. Pacifist? If this asshole was a pacifist, then Kim Jong-un could get the Nobel Peace Prize. After drinking, eating, and resting enough, the two stood up again to keep training. Okay, Normans, you first, 50-meter freestyle. Your record yesterday was 24.12 seconds. My best record is actually 23.98. Then put on your best performance. If your result isn't good today, I'll have you train more. Zhao clapped his hands. Go now. Zhao and Evely both held up stopwatches. One person recording might not be accurate enough. Ready. Splash. Normans dove into the water, creating a pretty splash. She reached the end. Evely looked at the stopwatch, her expression changing slightly. 23.9 seconds, Zhao said. How about you? 23.91. Evely couldn't believe this. With this speed, Normans could attend the Olympics with the national team. If she was lucky, she could even win gold. Of course, they were using manual stopwatches, so mistakes were possible. However, the error couldn't be more than 0.01 seconds. Norman slowly swam back to the starting point. How was it? What's my time? Your final time, 23.90 seconds. I improved that much? Normans was shocked. She knew that Zhao's training was effective, but she didn't think it could be so obvious in only a day. Come up. Evely, go down. You take a break and try the 100-meter later. Evely took a deep breath and went to the diving platform. I'm ready. Ready. Splash. Evely didn't like Zhao, but she was still serious about swimming. 1 lap, 2 laps, 3 laps. 7, 8. Zhao and Norman stopped the watch at the same time. 8 minutes, 25 seconds. How much? Evely just got out of the water and couldn't hear clearly. 8 minutes and 25 seconds. Evely gasped. She was at 8 minutes and 40 seconds yesterday. Her best time was 8 minutes 38 seconds. She kept wavering around this time without any changes. But in one day, she actually reached 25 seconds. This was a miracle. Or was she just performing exceptionally well today? It was possible for athletes to perform extraordinarily, but the possibility was too small. This kind of speed was a professional athlete's level. You didn't give me any steroids, right? If you want to think that, I don't care. Chen Zhao shrugged. Normans, are you done resting? Yes. Next, Normans tested her 100-meter freestyle. It was better than yesterday. Yesterday, her time had been 54 seconds. Today, it was 53.90 seconds. The improvement wasn't as big, but she'd just done the 50-meter freestyle and hadn't recovered fully yet. Okay, next, start training. Chun Zhao started giving out instructions again. Normans, practice kicking in place for 20 minutes. Evely, swim at a regular pace for 20 minutes. The two had different events, so their training was different too. Evely was much more cooperative in the following training. Chen Zhao also planned more things for them today. The training lasted for 5 hours. He didn't leave the pool until the medical class that Wright arranged for him in the afternoon. Chun Zhao didn't prepare any material. After all, he was only the substitute. When he walked into the classroom, there were only a dozen students there. Sir, did you walk into the wrong room? A student asked when Chun Zhao got onto the lecture podium. No, I'm the substitute today, Chun Zhao said. Your professor is sick, so I'm here in his place. It's about time, so let's start class. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Chun Zhao. You can call me Chun. I'm Chinese and I'm mainly responsible for traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture classes. This is my first time lecturing. If you're not interested, you can sleep. Just don't make any noise. Normans and Evely were both sitting in the classroom. They knew that Chen Zhao would teach here. Normans had already graduated. She wasn't even a med student. Compared to other times, Normans whispered, "He doesn't seem that confident on the podium." "I doubt he's qualified to even stand there," Evely replied. "The two ladies in the back, if you're here for class, please keep quiet." Chun Zhao directly called Normans and Evely out. The two girls glared at him and fell silent. In Chinese medicine, we focus on the yin, yang, and 5 elements. It sounds like magic. Of course, in the East, it's referred to as mystical studies. But Chinese medicine has a history of thousands of years. Yin and yang are actually the veins and arteries. The 5 elements refer to the heart, lungs, spleen, liver, and kidney. "Teacher," Evely called out, "are you sure this isn't a magic class? You should go to Hogwarts instead of UCLA. Evely, perhaps your swimming training is too easy. I'll multiply your intensity tomorrow and cut down your meal." "Are you threatening me about another major?" "This is my authority. You can be angry, but you can't do anything about it. This just shows your unprofessionalism. Look at the other students in the classroom. Some are playing on their laptops, some reading books about other fields, or just sleeping." Thud. The student sleeping on the table suddenly slid onto the ground. "Look how deeply he's asleep." Chapter 339, Cardiac Arrest. Chapter 339, Cardiac Arrest. The other students in the lecture room also guffawed. Nobody knew whether they were laughing at Chen Zhao's abstruse lecture or at the student who was sleeping on the floor. "Wake him up," Chen Zhao said, frowning. "You can sleep, but at least cover your face with a book. I'll lose face if you sleep just like this." A student approached the student lying on the floor and pushed him. "Hoffman, get up." But there was no response. The student pushed him again. "Hoffman, wake up." Chen Zhao frowned and walked forward. He lifted Hoffman's wrist and pressed his chest lightly. Immediately, Chen Zhao's expression changed drastically. "Cardiac arrest? Does he have a heart disease? Quickly give him CPR." Evely shouted at once. She was clearly no longer in the mood to joke. The other students also surrounded Hoffman. The student who had pushed him earlier pulled his shirt open and was about to perform CPR. "Stop!" Chen Zhao stopped the student right away. He has had heart surgery before. Here's the surgical scar. From the angle and the mark, it should be left ventricular correction. Maybe there was a mistake during surgery and the endocardium's damaged, but it wasn't discovered. If you perform CPR, he'll die immediately, Chen Zhao said. Call the ambulance. Evely, get me my toolbox. Evely glanced at Chen Zhao, after which she walked to the podium and took the toolbox. Stand back. Don't gather around here, Chen Zhao shouted. At the same time, he took out a set of silver needles, found the correct acupoint, and stuck a needle in. Puff! Immediately, Hoffman sprang back to life. The other students all exclaimed. Was a silver needle enough to save a person? It was a sequela of the heart surgery. Indeed, it was a very dangerous condition. The patient may die within a few minutes. However, Chen Zhao could wake Hoffman up easily. Surprise flashed across the eyes of many students. They were all medical students, after all, so they knew most of the medical principles. They also knew how dangerous Hoffman's state was just now. Don't move. Chen Zhao pressed Hoffman back onto the floor. You can't move now. Tell me, do you feel any discomfort while breathing? Hoffman nodded with some pain on his face. Is it painful to breathe? Yes, Hoffman answered. Chen Zhao nodded. Did you have heart surgery in the last 6 months? Had left ventricular anatomical correction during the summer vacation, Hoffman answered. The students around them all stared at Chen Zhao. They could not believe that Chen Zhao had actually guessed it correctly. Actually, the biggest difference between Chen Zhao and the other students was that Chen Zhao was a real doctor, not a student. Chen Zhao had seen many patients and done countless practical treatments before. There were only a few possible causes for Hoffman's cardiac arrest, including sudden heart disease, surgery sequelae, and poisoning. Chen Zhao knew these, so did the students. The difference was that Chen Zhao could notice it. None of the students had noticed the obvious surgical scar, indicating how inexperienced they were. Don't breathe too hard. Maintain your breathing rate. You will definitely need endocardium repair surgery, Chen Zhao said. But don't worry, the surgery has a very high success rate. Also, you might want to ask the doctor to control the amount of anesthetic during surgery. You can't take too much anesthetic now. Of course, if your surgeon is experienced enough, he or she will know it. Just then, the paramedics arrived. Huh, Chen, why are you here? For looked at Chen Zhao in surprise. I'm a lecturer here, Chen Zhao answered. You? Lecturer? For's face was filled with disbelief. Why? Is it strange? Forget it. What happened here? Is the student all right? No, Chen Zhao told her Hoffman's condition. Thank God you're here, or he would probably be with God now. His condition, endocardium damage after surgery, is very dangerous. I've met at least 8 patients so far, but none of them made it to the hospital. All right, get him into the ambulance. Don't keep him lying on the floor. After Hoffman was sent away, nobody dared to belittle Chen Zhao anymore. Chen Zhao had proven that he was a very good doctor. All medical students would clearly like to become doctors if possible. Many medical students had excellent results in school but were chased out of the hospital during the first year of internship. They could not put their knowledge into practice. Sir, was that acupuncture? It's a more complicated technique in acupuncture. With your current knowledge, you probably won't be able to understand it. It's also difficult to explain in English. Of course, if you're interested, I'll start from the basics the next time I lecture. Isn't it just injection? I've practiced that during a hospital internship. You inserted needles into veins, right? Chen Zhao looked at the student. You don't need me to tell you how big veins are. I just inserted the needle into the acupoint Tushine, which is about 0.1 millimeter large. It can only be reached with a special needle. There are 3 vital acupoints around it. Had I inserted the needle wrongly, Hoffman might need to lie in bed forever. Is there still someone who's brave enough to perform acupuncture now? Everyone gasped. Nobody dared to question Chen Zhao anymore. Most of the injections now are intravenous. Injection and acupuncture are 2 very different things. Even the veins of children are not hard to find. However, Acupoints are very small. If the needle is inserted incorrectly, the patient might just lose a drop of blood, but if it hits another acupoint, the consequences can be severe. The human body is like a precise machine. Stick a rod into the machine and nobody may happen, but if the rod is stuck in the gears, the entire machine could stop working. All right, end of the lecture. No homework, but please remember, unless I personally agree, don't perform acupuncture on anyone, unless you want to deliberately hurt or kill the patient. Then, Chun Zhao packed his toolbox and left. This lecturer's so cool. Chapter 340. Only my followers can enjoy fried chicken. Chapter 340. Only my followers can enjoy fried chicken. Meow, meow. Samuel stood around the flowers and reached out a paw. Humans, become my follower and I will bestow upon you endless riches and glory. Give the food in your hands to your master. What a cute kitty. What breed is it? Good boy, eat this. Meow, meow, meow. Very good. It seems that you've all pledged loyalty to me. You will become my first group of followers. Go and spread my belief. Samuel waited until his 3 followers left before jumping onto Chen Zhao's table. Chen Zhao was sitting at the Open Sky Cafe right now. Samuel strode proudly. Master, did you see? I already have 3 followers now. This is the first step to conquering the world. Yeah, good, keep going, Chen Zhao replied dismissively. If you beg me, I'll share my food with you. Samuel looked proudly at him. Chen Zhao glanced at the drumstick in Samuel's mouth. You can enjoy it by yourself? You really don't want it? The crispy golden skin, mesmerizing fragrance, and tender taste are definitely the best experience of the human world. Chen Zhao didn't doubt Samuel's true form strength as a demon king. After all, he'd witnessed how strong superior demons were. As a demon king, Samuel was definitely stronger than Beelzebub, Zophi, and Horus. But he was just a bit ignorant, like a total country bumpkin. When I rule the world, I'll send out an order that only my followers are allowed to enjoy this thing. It's called fried chicken, Chen Zhao reminded. Oh, fried chicken. Finish it. We're going to the hospital. Tim, your son is in a quite dangerous situation. He's already in the surgery room for emergency treatment. What exactly happened to Hoffman? He underwent ventricular malformation correction surgery half a year ago. However, his intraventricular membrane still has its own muscle memory. This caused his membrane to not grow according to the post-surgery ventricular shape. A blockage was formed. Didn't you tell me that Hoffman's surgery was successful? And now you're telling me about these weird side effects? Tim Waltz couldn't understand it all. He just wanted to know if his son was in danger or not. Sir, this can't be predicted, the doctor explained. No one can predict things like a muscle's long-term memory. Let me ask you this. Will Hoffman leave the surgery room safely? I'll try my best. I don't want your best. I want your promise. If I don't get good news, I'll throw you into Somalia. The doctor lowered his head. I'll go perform surgery now. He didn't dare go up against Tim Waltz. He is a top billionaire in America. He even had a share of this hospital. If Tim really wanted to send someone to Somalia, no one would be able to save them. Just then, a red-haired beauty walked over. Tim glanced at her, dissatisfaction filling his face. Miss Rydra, you're too late. I'm sorry, Mr. Tim. Hoffman has always been getting care under your orders, but now he's in danger again. Can you explain? Rydra was troubled. Sir, you must understand that Hoffman was born with abnormal ventricular growth. The surgery from half a year ago was a success, but he still can't exercise like regular people. His heart was fixed artificially and is actually still weak. The treatment I gave Hoffman can only help him avoid most dangers. It isn't absolute. I pay you $20,000 per month for absolute safety. No one can promise anything absolute, Rydra said matter-of-factly. I'm only his health consultant. I can only give suggestions instead of treating him directly. If I can be 100% sure, it won't be only $20,000. It'll be $200,000. If you can ensure my son's safety, So what if it's $200,000? Just then, the light above the surgery room turned red. What does that mean? Tim asked. Rydra looked at the flashing red light. Her expression seemed unnatural. Two doctors in white coats entered the room. Miss Rydra, what's going on? An emergency, Rydra said, expression grave. How much of an emergency? Critical danger. It's very rare for an accident to happen during surgery and need the help of other doctors. Are you saying that Hoffman is in danger? Rydra nodded. A lot of danger. Open the door. Open. I want to see Hoffman. Open the door now. Tim, this will disturb the doctors from helping Hoffman. Rydra pulled Tim back. Tim paced anxiously outside the room. The seconds ticked by, and he grew more anxious. Miss Rydra, so much time has passed. Hoffman should be okay, right? Rydra didn't answer, which pissed him off. Answer me? Mr. Tim, what do you want me to say? Something that can assure you? The more time that passes, the worse it means for Hoffman. A long surgery isn't only dangerous for him. It's also burdensome for the doctors. Tim was even more unsettled. How much longer will it take? Rydra wasn't the doctor. How would she know? Finally, 3 hours later, the door opened. The doctors and other staff walked out. Doctor, how is Hoffman? The main doctor pulled off his mask, revealing an apologetic expression. Mr. Tim, I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. I asked you, how is Hoffman? My condolences. You asshole, what are you talking about? Explain. Tim lost control and grabbed the main doctor's collars. Sir, can you calm down? This is a hospital. I'm the biggest shareholder. I'll say whatever I want. Tim roared. I want to hear good news, so you tell me good news. How is Hoffman? Everyone could see that Tim Waltz was about to go crazy. Chapter 341. Dead people are covered with white sheets. Chapter 341. Dead people are covered with white sheets. Chun, how come you're here? For asked. I came to see the patient in the vegetative state, Chun Zhao said. Let me bring you there. WAT leaders was still lying in bed, his cheekbones visible. After all, he had been living on nutrient injections and had not been exercising. He had lost almost all of his body functions. Even if he could wake up, he would need a long period of rehabilitation. His daughter, Suma Leaders, was not present. Chun Zhao heard that Suma had been working for more than 14 hours a day to pay for her father's hospitalization and treatment. This human soul is damaged, Samuel said. If you can't restore his soul, he'll sleep forever. Chun Zhao was surprised. Damaged soul? That's right. There are traces of magic where his soul is damaged. It's probably caused by a spell. Spell? Was it Blackie? Blackie might have damaged WAT's soul while practicing sorcery on him. This could explain why Blackie had asked Chun Zhao to treat WAT. Do you know Blackie? You mean the Soulbringer at home? Yes. What will happen when a Soulbringer harms a human? If a Soulbringer kills a living soul, the Soulbringer will lose the number of lives that is equal to the amount he has taken away. A Soulbringer typically lives for no more than 500 years, so normally they will never harm a life on purpose. Chun Zhao gave it some thought and asked, what if Blackie caused this? Will Blackie receive any punishment? No, at least not before the man dies. Damaged soul. Is there a way to heal him? Chun Zhao asked. Heal his soul. How? Use soul fragments and then cast soul heal, but you can't restore his lost memories. Teach me soul heal. I don't know it myself. What? You're a demon king. Why don't you know it? Why would I know such an inferior spell? Do you think I even have a target to cast the spell on? I only kill. Then what's your use here? I don't know it, but my subordinates do, Samuel said. Fine. At least you're slightly useful, Chun Zhao said, twitching his mouth. Summon me to hell, for I need to learn the spell. I want 10 chicken drumsticks and 10 pots of catnip. Deal. When will you summon me? My true form in hell doesn't even have a token from you. Can't summon you yet. What can I give you as a token? Just something that you use frequently. Let me bring it back to hell. I'll find one when I get home, Chenjiao said. Chenjiao left the ward. For was waiting for him outside. Are you done? Yes. Do you have a solution? He has no relation with you. Why are you so concerned? Suma is in deep pain. If you can wake her father up, it'll be a great relief for her. I can't promise anything, Chenjiao said. With Suma's financial condition, I don't think she can hire you. When you met each other last time, she didn't seem to know you. Why would you help? I have my reasons. Forget it. I won't ask. You won't tell me the truth anyway. Chenjiao and Four approached the vending machine and Chenjiao inserted a few coins. You want a beverage? Four ordered a cup of coffee. The two sat along the aisle. Your dad's birthday is on the 18th, right? Huh. How did you know? Winnip called me yesterday. We plan to spend a few days in Sacramento. You want to come? I need to look at my schedule first. I'm not as free as you. Just then, they heard an abrupt voice. Trickster. Both Chenjiao and Four were stunned. They lifted their heads and saw a red-haired lady standing before the vending machine. Is she referring to you? Four asked in surprise. Chenjiao looked at the red-haired lady. She looked familiar, but Chenjiao could not recall where they had met. You are? You can't remember? I was Mr. Rasva's health consultant, and I was fired because of you. Chenjiao slapped his head. You're Rydra? Rydra gave a cold humph, took her beverage, and left. Four looked at Chenjiao. Looks like she hates you a lot. Maybe because I snatched her client. Chenjiao helplessly shrugged his shoulders. Why did she call you trickster? Why would I know? We've only met once. Even Chenjiao himself was baffled. Don't tell me there's something else between the two of you. You know, she looks pretty. You're too imaginative. Chenjiao smiled and shook his head. I should leave. Just then, a trolley with a white sheet on top was pushed past Chenjiao. Chenjiao was already used to it. It was a hospital, after all, and corpses were common. Who? Master, what's that? Dead people are covered with white sheets? But that person isn't dead, Samuel said. Not dead. Chenjiao was puzzled. Are you sure? Yes, I can hear his weak breathing and feel his complete soul. Chenjiao chased and caught up with the trolley. Sitting along the aisle, Four saw Chenjiao run back and asked, What happened? I want to see this person. Chenjiao stopped the trolley. Just then, Tim Waltz and Rydra also walked over. What are you doing? Tim Waltz roared in anger. His eyes were red and there were some tear marks on his face. Mr. Tim, he's a trickster, Rydra said. Tim Waltz approached Chenjiao. What are you doing to my son's body? Sir, I'm sorry. I just saw him move. Chenjiao found an excuse. Hoffman's dead. His doctor has already confirmed it. Are you trying to do something to a corpse? Rydra said, but I can understand it. As a trickster, as long as you can get money, you won't mind using a dead person. Four looked at Chenjiao. Chun, maybe you saw it wrong? Sir, are you sure you don't want another examination? Chenjiao asked. Tim Waltz was somewhat hesitant. He turned his head and asked Rydra, You know him? He's a shameless trickster. Ms. Rydra, you keep saying I'm a trickster. Who did I trick? You're an illegal doctor, Rydra said. Chenjiao shrugged his shoulder. I admit I'm illegal, but it doesn't mean I deceive people. Chapter 342, Dead or Not. Chapter 342, Dead or Not. What are you arguing about? Hoffman's main doctor walked over. He says that Hoffman is still alive. Tim Waltz still had a shred of hope. The doctor shook his head. We've already checked. Hoffman has died. His heart has stopped more than 10 minutes ago. The doctor glanced at Chenjiao. I don't know what your motive is, but I diagnosed him personally. He's already dead. Did you hear that? Rydra piped up. Tim, even the doctor says so. I still hold my viewpoint. He's not dead, but he's indeed about to die. Qin Zhao glanced at Tim. Sir, if you're willing to let your son live, then please give me and him a chance. Tim looked at him with glimmering eyes and then hesitantly glanced at Rydra and the doctor. Just then, For spoke up. Sir, I trust my friend's judgment. Miss For, please consider your standpoint. Dr. Cleet, isn't it clear enough? I support my friend. For glanced at Tim. Sir, please give my friend a chance. Give your son a chance. You really can save him? Tim obviously wished that his son was still alive, but he didn't want his son's body to be insulted. Qin Zhao looked at Tim. Then he pulled back the white sheet. He discovered that the boy was the student that he'd given emergency treatment to in the classroom. He reached out and pressed hard on the Tsushin acupoint. Everyone saw Hoffman's finger twitch. He's alive. Hoffman is still alive. He's still alive. Tim Waltz cried. My son is still alive. He's still alive. Rydra and Dr. Cleet's expressions turned dark. I need a surgery room, Qin Zhao said. Sir, Cleet said. He can't be saved. He was just pushed out of the surgery room. His ventricular malformation correction surgery failed, causing severe internal bleeding. He has no hope. Perhaps you gave him temporary muscle reaction, but that doesn't mean he's still alive. I need a surgery room, Qin Zhao repeated. Hurry, get him a surgery room. Hurry, hurry. Mr. Tim, this doesn't follow the rules, Cleet said. Fuck your rules, Tim yelled. Get my son and this man a surgery room right now, or else get the fuck out of this hospital. Chun, room 9 should be empty, For said. But you better finish within 2 hours, because I have a surgery then. Push him to room 9, Qin Zhao said. When they got there, For asked, Do you need my help? No. Qin Zhao shut the automatic door. It could only be opened from the inside now. Tim, why do you trust that liar? Rydra said, a bit frustrated. Yeah, it's just a simple muscle reaction. It doesn't mean that Hoffman is still alive. Tim sat by the surgery room's door without speaking. The depressed look still hadn't disappeared. Plus, that liar brought a cat into the room. Doesn't he know that the room must be kept absolutely bacteria-free? He doesn't even have any common sense. It's Chin's habit, For said. All of you shut up, Tim yelled. I don't want to hear any nonsense before the result comes out. Qin Zhao put on his gloves and reopened Hoffman's chest. There was a blood clot in his trachea. The surgery had failed, so the stitches were done quite carelessly. They didn't even use any gel. This gel was used after surgeries for wounded organs to recover and mend. It was a biological gel and most often used for gastric perforation. Qin Zhao first used soul shock to shock Hoffman's soul. Hoffman's eyes flew open. A suffocating feeling seized him instantly. Keep calm. I know you feel horrible right now, but you must keep going. Pretend you're underwater. Qin Zhao dripped a droplet of perfect crystal potion into his mouth. This drop was the purest life essence. It nourished Hoffman's body. He was still in pain, but at least it was bearable now. Go to sleep now. Qin Zhao hypnotized Hoffman and made him fall asleep. Then he used magic, demon medicine, and Chinese medicine all at once to perform surgery on Hoffman. His biggest problem right now was his abnormal heart. If Qin Zhao could cut off the abnormal part, then Hoffman would have hope of survival. To make sure he could stay in his best state, Qin Zhao cast himself a spell for sharp thinking. This made his brain extremely clear. He knew exactly what he needed to do. After cutting off the abnormal membrane, Qin Zhao stitched up the heart. He also added in gel while giving Hoffman another drop of the perfect crystal potion. Energy, Qin Zhao urged. Hoffman's heart jumped abruptly. Just then, the clotted blood in his trachea spewed out of his nose as air started moving through. Instead of stitching him up, Qin Zhao checked Hoffman's heart. He realized that even though Hoffman's heart was beating again, it wasn't strong enough. For one, he was too weak right now. It was also because his heart was weak in the first place. This wasn't a problem that could be solved in a day. After ensuring that Hoffman's heart was stable, Qin Zhao stitched him up. He gave Hoffman another soul shock. The boy started panting loudly. Am I dead? Not right now. Chun Zhao patted Hoffman's cheeks. How do you feel? Kind of hurts. Chun Zhao squeezed Hoffman's fingers. Now? Hurts. Then he squeezed Hoffman's toes. Any feeling? Hurts. Good, you're out of danger, Chun Zhao said. Your bodily functions and nerve reactions are all normal. Thank you. Hoffman was still weak. His voice was very weak. You should exercise your body to strengthen your heart, Chun Zhao said. Okay, I should leave. Chapter 343, To a Father, It's an Amazing Day. Chapter 343, To a Father, It's an Amazing Day. Mr. Tim, he's gone in for almost 2 hours already. Mr. Tim, are you sure you want to watch a fraud disrespect Hoffman's body? By then, Tim Waltz was also becoming impatient. He was both worried and scared. What was happening? Was Hoffman dead or alive? Just as he was hesitating, the automatic door of the operating room opened. Tim Waltz saw Chun Zhao walk out. He immediately stormed forward and grabbed Chun Zhao's shoulders. How's Hoffman? At the moment, Chun Zhao was already very exhausted. His clothes were stained with blood. Chun Zhao pushed Tim's hands away. Before he could even speak, Rydra said, You better explain to Mr. Tim. Insulting a dead body is unforgivable, whether by law or by God. Chun Zhao glanced at Rydra, not in the mood to argue with her. He's very weak now. He needs nutrient injections, Chun Zhao said. What? Tim Waltz was still in a daze. Your son is alive, but he's very weak. Can you not understand English? You mean, my son is alive? Tim Waltz's eyes were filled with disbelief. Don't you want to go in and see your son? Rydra was even more incredulous. It can't be. Hoffman is dead for sure. He can't be alive. Tim Waltz charged into the operating room directly and saw Hoffman on the operating table. Hoffman? Dad, you're alive, you're alive. Great. It's an amazing day. Thank God. Dad, to me, it's not been an amazing day. Can you carry me away from this cold table? I don't feel good. Chun, well done. Walked Chun Zhao to the exit. Thank you for speaking for me just now. I wasn't speaking for you. I just didn't want a person to be murdered because of misjudgment. Looked at Chun Zhao. You look really tired. Can you still drive? Of course. I need to leave. See you. You sure you don't need a ride? No. Looked at Chun Zhao's back. She inhaled a deep breath, shook her head and walked back into the hospital. Just then, Tim Waltz found Dr. Where's that Asian? His name is Chun. He's already left. Also, he doesn't like people to call him Asian. He's Chinese. Yes, may I ask where Dr. Chun is? He left. I want to thank him for saving Hoffman. He's an illegal doctor with no medical license. If the Department of Health finds out that he performed a high-risk operation without a license, he'll spend at least 3 years in jail. I can promise that he won't be sued by anyone, including the government. I'll help to convey your gratitude to him, but please do not disturb his life. That will be the best way to thank him. But I would like to thank him personally. No, please don't. Mr. Tim, it's just a coincidence. Rydra still did not give up. She hoped Tim Waltz could trust her that Chun Zhao was a trickster. However, Tim Waltz ignored her completely. Hoffman, how do you feel now? Somewhat better. After receiving a bag of nutrient drip, Hoffman had recovered slightly. Dad, the doctor just now asked me to exercise suitably. No way. Rydra immediately screamed. It'll only increase your heart's burden. Tim Waltz was also rather reluctant. Hoffman had been weak since young precisely because he was diagnosed with ventricle malformation. Nobody dared to let him exercise. However, someone had just told Hoffman to exercise slightly. If it was anyone else, Tim would curse the person directly. However, it was the person who had just saved Hoffman's life. Tim Waltz began to hesitate. While Rydra had been arguing with Chun Zhao, her ability was undoubtedly excellent. Before Rydra became Hoffman's personal doctor and health consultant, Tim Waltz had checked her background thoroughly. Rydra graduated from Stanford Medical School and was holding a master's degree. She was an internist and had been an actual hospital doctor for 3 years. Later, she became the personal doctor and health consultant for many upper-class people. Her medical skill was more than outstanding. "I'll ask before deciding," Tim Waltz said. After all, it would affect his son's health or even life. Tim did not dare to make a hasty decision. "Chun, are you home?" When Four returned home, she realized that the RV was parked outside, but Chun Zhao was nowhere to be seen. The pets were all at home and dinner was also unprepared. They were all starving. When they saw Fei Lai, they gathered around her at once. Fei Lai took out all the pet food. When she went upstairs, she discovered that Chen Zhao was lying in bed. Fei Lai walked forward and saw Chen Zhao sleeping. What did he do? Fei Lai did not know why Chen Zhao was so exhausted and sleeping in the evening. Usually, even after Chen Zhao had just run a marathon, he would be lively and energetic at home. "Darling, it's dinner time." Chen Zhao opened his eyes slightly. "Fei Lai, I'm not eating. Are you ill?" Fei Lai took the thermometer. Chen Zhao did not have a fever. Nevertheless, she was still worried. "Four, can you come here? I think Chen's ill." Huh. When he left the hospital today, he indeed looked pale. He went to the hospital? Was he ill? No, he came to the hospital to see a patient. Also, he saved a patient who was already pronounced dead. He completed an operation that 4 specialists and 6 assistants failed to. I think he's just too tired. For looked at the sleeping Chun Zhao, still distressed. "Four, can you come here and check Shin?" Soon, For arrived. When she received Fei Lai's call just now, she thought that Chun Zhao's condition was quite serious. However, after some examination, she realized that Chun Zhao was very healthy, maybe even a bit too healthy. "Fei Lai, you let me worry for nothing. Chen's absolutely fine." "Really? Chen's usually always very energetic. I don't think I've ever seen him this tired before." "It's different. Usually he uses at most his physical strength, but he used too much brain during the surgery today. He'll restore after the sleep." "You sure he's fine? Just rest assured. I'm leaving." "Why don't you sleep here tonight?" "No way." For would burn in anger whenever she recalled that night. She had sworn that she would never, ever spend another night in their house. Chapter 344, True Strong Determine the Winner on the Battlefield. Chapter 344, True Strong Determine the Winner on the Battlefield. At night, Fei Lai felt a hand touching her. She opened her eyes to see that Chen Zhao had woken up. "Chun, what time is it?" "Don't know." Chen Zhao moved Fei Lai toward another direction. Fei Lai wanted to both laugh and cry. This guy was a true asshole. He'd slept and recovered his energy, so now he wanted to mess around. He really couldn't wait a single second. He thought of doing this as soon as he woke up. However, after being teased a few times, Fei Lai went from being passive to active. "Did you recover?" "Yeah, just a bit hungry." "I'll go make some food for you." "No need. I'll eat you first, and then go downstairs to find food." "You asshole." An hour later, Fei Lai went back to sleep. Chun Zhao went to sit by the pool alone, munching on dragon meat. As the saying went, you could only go up by going down first. Chen Zhao felt like he was in great shape now. Both his body and energy were at their best now. UCLA, swimming pool. Meow. Why are there drumsticks in these girls' food? They're not my followers. Your thoughts are still stuck in the era of buying the ticket and then getting onto the bus. It's a different time now. There are new ways to get followers too. You should let them feel your blessing first. Then they'll learn to feel thankful and join you. Really? Yes. Look how happy they are while eating. So they're my followers now since they're eating the drumsticks? You want to get a follower just with one drumstick? You think followers are that cheap? They're not. It's far from enough. Chen Zhao glanced at the starving girls. They'd already started licking the plate. Normans, is that asshole crazy? I watched him talk to that cat the entire morning. Maybe it's smarter than you. Qin Zhao glanced at the girls. After eating, digest and warm up for 5 minutes and get into the water. This was their 6th day of training. Evely was completely used to the intensity and method. The other swimmers there were used to it too. Just then, a dozen boys and girls walked in from the outside. They didn't seem to be members of the swim team. At least, Chun Zhao recognized most of the swim team after these days. These students looked unfamiliar. Each one had a satchel. A handsome guy with blonde hair and blue eyes put his bag onto the ground. Clapping his hands, he announced, "Friends of UCLA, hello? The pool belongs to us this afternoon. Please leave immediately. Thanks for your cooperation." "Oh, the ladies can stay." "Who's that?" Chun Zhao asked. "Don't know." Evely shook her head. These people didn't seem like gangsters. Gangsters wouldn't come mess around in a college. The guy walked over to Chun Zhao. He looked at Evely and Normans and then smiled like a gentleman, nodding. Finally, he looked at Chun Zhao. "Sir, can you please leave?" "No. Please cooperate. Don't you see that our team's girls are changing?" In reality, the girls that had come with him had just taken off their jackets. They were wearing swimsuits underneath them. "We came first and we're training. Plus, you don't seem to be part of the UCLA swim team." "We're from UCSF. We received permission from the school to be here. It's not only today either. We'll be training here every afternoon from now on." "The school? Which school? Why haven't I received any notification?" Chun Zhao wouldn't back down for this. They wanted to practice, but Chun Zhao also had to train Evely and Normans. "Sir, I came just to notify you." "Then hand it over." "Hand what over?" "The paper announcement." "Why do we need a paper announcement for this?" "So you don't have it?" Chun Zhao rolled his eyes. Turning back to Evely and Normans, he said, "Let us continue." "Sir, let's not make a scene, all right? We have 2 professional athletes on the team. They need to maintain their fitness. We already communicated with your school before coming and received permission." "I'm sorry, my students also need to train. Plus, there are 4 pools here, each with 12 lanes. It's enough for you. My students are professional athletes. Most of our training is confidential. Outsiders are not allowed to observe." "Then you best come at midnight. There definitely won't be any outsiders at that time." "Hey, you better not test my limits," the man said with a dark expression. Chun Zhao glared at him. "Get the fuck out." The man put a hand on Chun Zhao's shoulder, but the next moment, he was in the air. And then he fell into the pool. Everyone froze, gaping at Chun Zhao. Did I see that correctly? That Asian threw Coach Eradicate into the pool? He threw Coach Eradicate like 3 meters out? "You dare to hit me." Eradicate slipped out of the water. He wasn't hurt, but his ego was hurt. "Kids, you see how UCLA are all a bunch of unmannered brutes, right? Show them UCSF's power." A few guys from the UCSF swim team immediately wanted to walk over and teach Chun Zhao a lesson. Just then, a shadow loomed over them. "You guys better stop." Tiger grabbed one guy. "Unless you're a professional fighter, you better not piss off Mr. Chun." Chun Zhao glanced at Tiger. He didn't expect Tiger to be here, let alone speaking up for him. The guys from the UCSF swim team calmed down too. They'd all seen Chun Zhao throw Eradicate 3 or 4 meters away. He obviously had unnatural strength. They couldn't beat him. "I'm here to notify you," Tiger said. "Our principal decided that you can borrow a pool, but not the entire place." Eradicate climbed out of the pool with a dark face and glared at Chun Zhao. "What you looking at? Want to fight?" Eradicate looked away and said to his team, "Kids, let's go to the pool over there. We won't fight with them outside the meet. They're only a group of weaklings. True strength will determine the winner on the battlefield." Chapter 345, Trampling on World Records. Chapter 345, Trampling on World Records. "Chun, why didn't you teach them a lesson?" Evely stared at Chun Zhao in frustration. "How? You want me to throw all of them into the pool?" "Since they want a competition, just go for it. You're not scared of them, are you? UC games are just a few days away anyway. You can go and compete with them by then. Why should I do it? It's not like you. You shouldn't be so submissive. I'm a pacifist. Who threw that person into the pool again? I was forced to fight back. Both Evely and Normans rolled their eyes. Pacifist? The person only touched his shoulder, and Chen Zhao flung him out by a few meters. How could Chen Zhao be a pacifist? Coach Ergot, do we admit defeat just like this? A few men gathered around Ergot, their faces filled with indignation. Although Ergot had said that only a competition could determine the winner, they just could not let it go. They could not even focus on their training. These students were young, impetuous, and frivolous. In their school, they were used to doing whatever they wanted. Today, they met an even more unreasonable person and were really displeased. Don't worry, he won't be happy for long. Didn't that black man say that you need at least a professional boxer to beat that monkey? Just nice. I know a professional boxer in Los Angeles. Coach, are you sure? Of course. It's my bro in high school. I haven't seen him in a long time. It's a good opportunity to have a drink with him. Coach, bring us too? Sure. I remember he opened a fitness center. I'll bring you there after training today. After receiving Ergot's affirmative reply, the students began to focus on their training. Faster, even faster, faster. Kick your legs. Chen Zhao swam in the lane beside Evely and kept urging her. However, Evely stopped before she reached the end. Asshole, who swims like that? You asked me to charge when there's still 500 meters. I can't make it to the end. Evely shouted. That just means that you're trash. You should reconsider taking part in the competition. Then you come and show me? Why me? Didn't you call me trash because I couldn't do it? Then prove to me that you're not trash. What if I can do it? Then I'll admit I'm trash? No, let's have an actual bet. Whether you admit it or not, you're still trash. You want to deceive me into betting again? Evely's face darkened. Just then, Normans, who was outside the pool, suggested, how about this? If you can swim at full speed for the entire 800 meters, I'll give you 10,000. Evely found it a good idea. Good suggestion. I admit that you're fitter than me, but I don't believe that you can charge for the entire journey. 10,000 is too little. Chen Zhao twitched his lips. I'll add 10,000 too. You said it yourself. Chen Zhao was energized at once. Do you need some food? No, it's hard to swim when I'm too full, Chen Zhao said. After he climbed out of the pool, he did some warm-up. You ready? Chen Zhao stood on the platform. Yes. Ready? Bang! Chen Zhao immediately plunged into the water. Evely and Normans used their own stopwatch to measure Chen Zhao's speed. He's so fast. 50 meters, 21 seconds. This is close to a top-tier short-distance swimmer, right? The world record for 50-meter freestyle was 91 seconds. There were not many people who could make it under 21 seconds. Apart from fitness and skills, luck was also important for the birth of a world record. Usually, a person who could complete the journey within 21 seconds was already good enough to break the world record. Even the person who made the world record might not be able to achieve the same result again. The best 50-meter freestyle swimmers could finish the swim in about 21 seconds. Therefore, Evely and Normans could not believe Chen Zhao's swimming speed. Nevertheless, they were using manual stopwatches, which might not be very accurate. Chen Zhao turned around and continued at the same amazing speed. 100 meters. 43 seconds. World record. He broke the world record. Evely and Normans looked at the swimming Chen Zhao in astonishment. His speed almost did not decrease at all. 21 seconds for 50 meters and 43 seconds for 100 meters. The extra 1 second was used for turning around. Chen Zhao's result was better than the world record, not by 0.1 second, but by more than 3 seconds. The timing obtained with a manual stopwatch might have an error of a fraction of a second, but definitely not 3 seconds. 200 meters, 1 minute and 28 seconds. Another world record. Evely and Normans looked at each other. He's a real monster. 400 meters, 3 minutes and 1 second. Another world record was shattered by Chen Zhao. Apart from the 50-meter freestyle, Chen Zhao had shattered the records for freestyle, including 100m, 200m, and 400m. It was not hard to imagine what furor he would stir up if he appeared in a competition. Without exaggeration, if Chen Zhao became a professional swimmer, it would be the end of the world for the other swimmers. Chen Zhao did not just break the record by a bit, but destroyed them entirely. He broke the 100-meter record by 3.5 seconds, the 200-meter record by 14 seconds, and the 400-meter record by an unbelievable 40 seconds. When Chen Zhao reached 700 meters, he sped up instead of slowing down. The 800 meters were finally completed. Chen Zhao reappeared on the surface. Did I win the bet? Evely and Normans looked at their stopwatch, 5 minutes and 58 seconds. It was a result that could only be achieved by a beast. They felt that their stopwatches were both broken. Chen Zhao's speed for the last 400 meters was even faster than the first 400 meters. He's definitely not a human. You won, Evely said unwillingly, deleting the timing on the stopwatch. Chun, what's the fastest speed you can achieve? Dunno. Was your speed after the dive your fastest? About there. I didn't use all my strength. Chen Zhao was even holding back. After the training, Chen Zhao left the swimming complex. Just as he exited, he saw Tiger outside. Mr. Chun, excuse me. Chapter 346, 3 Classes. Chapter 346, 3 Classes. Yes? Mr. Chun, can I take some of your time? Huh. Chen Zhao was confused. Take what time? I already requested the school for a year off, Tiger said. I want to become a professional fighter and participate in this year's WBA All-American Fighting Championship for the 200-kilogram class. But I don't have a clear idea about my own abilities right now. I want to have 3 classes with you. I can pay you $30,000. What do you want to learn in these 3 classes? Chen Zhao asked. The first class, I want to do defense training, Tiger said seriously. Can you please train me in taking hits? The second class, offensive training. The third, I want Mr. Chun to seriously fight with me once. Sure. Chen Zhao needed money. After buying the RV, he had a severe loss in capital. He basically won't reject anything that could get him money. So can we start the first class now? Tiger asked. Okay. It was still early and Chen Zhao didn't have anything else to do. The boxing hall had many students and some teachers acting as temporary coaches. Most of the people there were just enthusiasts. There was practically no one who wanted to make boxing their future career like Tiger. Who's that? He actually dares to practice with Tiger? Is he crazy? Tiger took part in professional competitions before. Even though he'd done professional competitions before, they were mostly low-level ones. However, it was an unreachable level for the people in the school boxing hall. Tiger even got a boxing license this year. He posed a certain threat in competitions. One had to take part in fights against professionals. After your points reach a certain number, you'd be able to get a license. Neither Chen Zhao nor Tiger cared about the whispers. Tiger asked Chen Zhao to give him lessons because he recognized Chen Zhao's professional abilities. He wasn't very familiar with a professional skill level now. He had to first experience a professional's abilities while measuring the difference between them. Tiger held the cushion and wore protective gear. Chen Zhao put on boxing gloves. Let's start, Chen Zhao said. They touched fists. Why did Tiger find such a short guy to practice fighting? That guy's punches can't have any power. Any random member of the boxing club would be stronger than him, right? Thud. Just then, a heavy thud came from the ring. Can you take that power? Chen Zhao gave a test punch. Everyone under the ring fell silent. The power in that punch was enough to shut them up. Yeah, it's not enough. Can you use more force? Like when you hit me last time. Okay. Chen Zhao nodded. Protect your head. Tiger put the cushion over his head. Moving, Chen Zhao said, I'm coming. Watch out. Thud, 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 thud. Chun Zhao's punches were rhythmic, but this was only training for taking hits. He didn't attack Tiger's critical parts. Instead, he just hit the cushion. This was to let Tiger feel where his endurance limit was. As Chun Zhao punched, he asked, "Is this force okay? You can use more force." Up, down, left, right, up, down, up, down. Chun Zhao punched more than 20 times and Tiger suddenly called out, "Stop, stop." As he spoke, he took 2 steps back. "Mr. Chun, let me recover." "Okay, tell me when you're ready." Resting for 3 minutes, Tiger was back. "I'm good. Let's keep going. We'll do moving offense and defense now." "Sure." The two started moving. Chun Zhao still reminded Tiger while attacking. Left, left, right, left, right, up, down, left, right. Thud, 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 thud. This guy is too strong. He can actually force Tiger back. Tiger felt Chun Zhao's power and speed. He must admit that he only understood how strong Chun Zhao truly was after training with him. His past opponents couldn't compare with Chun Zhao's speed and power. "Tiger, if you're used to this force and frequency, I can make it harder. How about it?" "Mr. Chun, this isn't your limit." Tiger couldn't believe it. "I'm coming. Watch out." Up, down, left, right, thud, thud, thud. Tiger's cushion produced a string of explosive sounds. He withstood it for a minute before calling a timeout. "I need a break," he said. He must say that he learned a lot from practicing with Chun Zhao for this short while. He couldn't improve by fighting with opponents weaker than himself. He could only improve and get a clear idea of himself by fighting with stronger ones. An hour went by quickly. Tiger could barely lift his arms anymore. He took off the protective gear with difficulty. "Thank you, Mr. Chun. I'm going now." Chun Zhao hugged Tiger. To Tiger, this was an extremely hard practice session. To Chun Zhao, it was only a comfortable warm-up. Eradicate brought his students to his friend's gym. "Douglas, you look like you got stronger." Eradicate hugged Zanla Douglas tightly. Zanla Douglas let go of Eradicate and looked at the swim team members behind him. "These kids are your students?" "Yes, they're the elites of our swim team." Eradicate introduced all his students. "Are you Mr. Zanla Douglas?" One of the students recognized him. "You're the one who won the golden belt at the WBA All-American Fighting Championship last year." "Haha, kid, you watched the fights?" Zanla said, laughing heartily. He was obviously happy to be recognized. "Of course, I really liked your match." "Mr. Douglas, will you attend this year?" "Of course. Not only WBA, but I'll also be in the World Boxing Council and International Boxing Federation competitions. My goal is to get the golden belt in at least 3 events. Next year, I'll go to the WBO and WBPF. I'll try to get all the golden belts in 3 years. "Douglas, you should have no matches in the boxing world now, right?" "Huh. I can't say I'm undefeatable, but I'm in pretty good shape." Chapter 347, Princess's Punishment. Chapter 347, Princess's Punishment. "Douglas, how about a drink tonight?" "Sure. Dobby, do look after the center. I'm going out with my friend." "Of course. Just leave everything to me." "Mr. Douglas, our coach was bullied by someone at UCLA today." A student suddenly complained. "Huh, what happened?" Zanla Douglas asked, confused. "Hobby, that didn't happen. During training today, our coach was thrown into the pool by a UCLA swimming coach." "Did all of you just watch the person bully your coach?" "Someone from the boxing club stopped us. He said that the swimming coach is as strong as a professional boxer." "Professional boxer? Is he? I've been quite free recently. When will you bring me to him?" Zanla Douglas said, not bothered. He had fought all the good boxers in the entire United States. What could UCLA possibly offer? What makes a boxer professional? Those so-called professional boxers who do not have a professional boxing license are all self-proclaimed. Countless boxers have failed the assessment to become professional. Great. I'm looking forward to the match. I've never seen a professional boxing competition up close, Eradicate said, smiling. Chin, I heard Tiger hired you as his boxing coach for yesterday? Evely asked. Yup. How much did you charge him? 3 sessions for 3 days, 30,000. What? We paid 200,000 for 10 days. Why did he only have to pay 30,000 for 3 days? I train you at least 4 hours a day, which means 40 hours in total, but his lessons are only 1 hour each. So your price is actually lower. Perhaps I should have charged you at the same rate as him. Forget it. Ignore me. Evely already had a hard time squeezing out 200,000 to pay Chen Zhao. If Chen Zhao were to charge her at Tiger's rate, she would probably need to ask her family for money. All right, let's start the training today. Chun, why don't you teach me boxing? 10,000 per hour. You want it? Stingy asshole. I don't have time to waste with you. Quickly, change to your swimsuit. For hours later, the training ended. Chen Zhao changed his money-making arena to the boxing club. The training today was getting beaten. Of course, Tiger would attack and Chen Zhao would get beaten. Punch harder. Harder? Did you not have breakfast? Or both breakfast and lunch? Tiger realized that no matter how much force he used, Chen Zhao would not move an inch. This is strong enough, but it's boxing. Who can you even hit after charging your attack for 10 seconds? The previous day, Tiger realized that he could not withstand Chen Zhao's attacks at all. He had to rest after a few minutes. When he got home, he even had to use some medication. Now it was his turn to attack, but he could not move Chen Zhao, regardless of how hard he tried. Coach Eradicate, he's in the boxing club now, practicing with that black man yesterday. Okay, I knew they know each other. I've asked around. That Asian has a 1-hour lesson for today, as well as yesterday. How long have they been boxing? More than half an hour already? Douglas needs more than half an hour to reach. Looks like today's not the day. I'll ask Douglas to go early tomorrow. After hanging up the call with his student, Eradicate called Zanla Douglas. Douglas, are you free tomorrow afternoon? Yes. Can you go to the UCLA boxing club tomorrow at 2? Will the person who hit you be in the boxing club? Yes. All right, got it. I'll be there tomorrow. Tiger, that's the end of the session, Chen Zhao said. Mr. Chun, how strong do you think I am? Tiger asked. Quite strong, but not top tier, I'm afraid, Chen Zhao said frankly. Mr. Chun, have you fought with a top-tier boxer before? Yes, once. How big is the difference between him and me? He can hurt me. Tiger was speechless. Fine. I'll work hard. Have a good rest today. Tomorrow, we'll have a proper fight. I will. Tiger asked again. Mr. Chun, how strong is your heaviest punch? You don't want to know. Chen Zhao recalled how he broke Gaia's punching machine last time. He felt that his strength had grown significantly since then. It was pointless to let Tiger know his strongest punch because their difference was too big. In fact, Chen Zhao did not even dare to use too much force during the training. Otherwise, he might really destroy the promising young man in one punch. After returning to the RV, Chen Zhao took a shower. He realized that there was some poop in the toilet bowl. Princess, you left it, right? Didn't flush again, huh? Princess looked wronged and pointed at Black Ma. Roar. Stop accusing Black Ma. Only you could leave such a big mess. Chen Zhao widened his eyes at Princess. Go and do 10 push-ups. Last time, Chen Zhao brought Princess around the college and she left some feces on the ground, forcing Chen Zhao to clean it up. Since then, he had been leaving Princess in the van. Of course, he would leave Black Ma and White Ma in the van, too. They were always overexcited when there were people around. Whenever they saw a person, they would chase him or her, causing a very bad influence on the college. On the other hand, Princess's biggest hobby was lying down. Second hobby, eating. Third hobby, eating while lying down. Hence, she was delighted to stay in the van. Nevertheless, while Princess was clever, she was forgetful. She had been taught how to use the toilet, but she would always forget to flush. To her, the most painful thing was to receive a punishment. Push-up was the thing she was most scared of, especially given her current weight. 10 push-ups were almost enough to kill her. Over the last period, she had doubled in weight. How did 1,000 kilograms feel like? A small car probably only weighed 1,400 or 1,500 kilograms. Chen Zhao did not have the slightest doubt that with her current growth rate, Princess's weight would surpass that of a car very soon. Princess was now a real giant. She was the largest carnivorous beast on land. Nothing could be bigger than her. Roar, roar. No? Then no dinner tonight. Roar. Princess submitted. She lay on the ground and began to do push-ups. Although her push-ups were nowhere near being standard, Chen Zhao barely accepted them. You better remember this. If you don't flush again, it'll be 20 push-ups. Chen Zhao glanced at Princess. All right, let's go home. Chapter 348, Nitpicking. Chapter 348, Nitpicking. Chun, Princess didn't flush again. Can you do something about it? She eats so much but doesn't know to flush the toilet. Look at Walter and the others. They don't eat as much as her, but they've learned to flush the toilet long ago. Chun Zhao clutched his head. Lock her up in the bathroom for a night and make her flush the toilet 100 times. Then she'll tear the bathroom apart. This isn't our home. Are we really going to tear the house down before we leave? Time goes so slowly. There are still 20 days. It's not that slow. When we visit Sacramento for a few days and come back, it'll be about time. Fei Lai nestled in Chen Zhao's arms. Oh, what gift did you prepare for Dad? Haven't decided. Do you have suggestions? I can't think of anything either. Fei Lai shook her head. How about we give him a grandson? Chen Zhao asked with an evil smile. His hand was already touching Fei Lai inappropriately. You're so bad. If my dad knows about this, he'll definitely hang you on the wall and practice hunting. More and more school swim teams started coming to the UCLA natatorium because the sports competition was in 3 days. It was also Chen Zhao's last day training Evely and Norman's. He didn't torture them anymore. Chun, Norman's asked, you aren't going to test our improvements. You're not competing. Why do you want to test? Then what about Evely? She's going to compete. She'll know her improvements by then. You can explain everything? Norman's glared at Chen Zhao. It was just because Chen Zhao was lazy and didn't even want to test them. Take it, Evely's and my payment. Norman's handed Chen Zhao a $200,000 check. Adding on the $100,000 prepayment, he'd made $300,000 in 10 days. This check was pretty much enough for the electrical equipment of his new home. $300,000 was enough for a regular house with furniture. Even $100,000 would be enough. However, Chen Zhao planned on installing a home monitor system, AI, in other words. Of course, it wouldn't be like the kind in sci-fi movies. It could only do some simple things according to the owner's words. The price of the equipment and installing the system would be at least $100,000. Chun, will you come to my meet? Evely asked. Which day? Second day of the entire competition. There are still 4 days. It's at 3 p.m. Okay, I'll watch you compete. Chen Zhao left the pool. He was about to go to the boxing club when Wright called. Hi, Wright. Chun, come to my office. Okay, coming. Chen Zhao hung up and called Tiger. Tiger, let's push our fight back half an hour. The principal called for me. Sure, I'll wait. Right. Chen Zhao knocked on Wright's door. Come in. Chen Zhao sat comfortably in Wright's office. What's wrong? You've been training Tiger in boxing these days, right? Yeah. Is there a problem? Tiger told you about taking a break from school to participate in the professional competition, right? Yeah, he told me about that. Chen Zhao didn't understand why Wright was asking this. Do you think it's suitable for Tiger to enter the professional circle? Chen Zhao considered this and answered, it's not a question of suitability, but whether he wants to or not. Chen, Tiger's grades are pretty good and this career has a certain danger to it. His family isn't rich either. He's not rich? Chen Zhao was shocked, but he promised to pay me $30,000. Where will he get that from? He competed a few times before and has a part-time job, Wright said. It's probably his savings from these years. Technically, the school won't stop a student from chasing after his dreams, but we must also consider their future and life. With his grades, he'll definitely find a good job in the future if he graduates. But if he enters the boxing field, he'll be nothing if he can't perform well. That depends on the school's definition of success. Chen Zhao could feel Tiger's love for boxing. Neither you nor I have the right to stop a young man from chasing after his dreams, right? If you wanted me to persuade him, then you found the wrong guy. Tiger was already an adult. He had the right to plan his future. Of course, he also had to bear the consequences of his decisions. Whether good or bad, he had to face them. Thud, thud. Tiger was hitting the sandbag, warming up for the match with Chen Zhao later. After these 2 days of practice, Tiger knew that Chen Zhao was definitely at a higher level. This didn't mean that he would give up. It was the best chance to get a clear idea of his own level. He wouldn't give up on it so easily. Just then, he heard a voice behind him. Your coach isn't here today? Tiger turned around and saw that it was Eradicate. Why are you looking for him? He looked behind Eradicate and saw that he'd brought many people. If you're here looking for trouble, you better get out. Otherwise, I'll throw you all out. Just then, a big guy standing in the back took off his hat. You mean you'll throw me out? Tiger froze, looking at the big guy who was similar in stature to him. You're Zanla Douglas? Shock was written all over his face. You said that you'll throw me out, didn't you? Zanla said. I didn't know you're here, Tiger explained hurriedly. I wasn't targeting you. Who was Zanla Douglas? He was the top figure in the professional boxing circle. He'd won the golden belt at last year's WBA and participated in 19 competitions throughout the year. He'd KO'd the opponent 12 times. As for Tiger, he was only a newbie. But they're my friends. You're insulting my friends. Zanla Douglas' aggressive attitude showed Tiger that he hadn't come to be reasonable. So what do you want? Apologize to my friends or fight a match with me, Zanla said. Chapter 349, Tiger's Future. Chapter 349, Tiger's Future. Sure, Tiger agreed readily. Everyone in the boxing club stared at him. The other party was deliberately provoking him. He had no reason to reject and no path to retreat. The two wore their boxing gloves and entered the ring. Let's confirm the rules first. We don't need multiple rounds. Let's fight until a person falls. Tiger frowned. Was Zanla Douglas planning to have a death match? Usually, there would only be death matches in underground boxing. Nevertheless, Tiger did not flinch. He felt that he was strong enough. He did not know if he could beat Zanla Douglas, but he was confident that he would not lose too badly. All right. The two touched each other's gloves, indicating the start of the match. None of them attacked rashly. After maintaining their 1-meter distance for about 10 seconds, Tiger made an exploratory punch. However, Zanla Douglas' defense was very tight, not giving Tiger any chance. While Tiger did not manage to hit Zanla Douglas, when he touched Zanla's arms, he could feel some movement. It felt very different from his training with Chen Zhao. Chen Zhao felt like an immovable wall. On the other hand, when Tiger attacked Zanla Douglas, Zanla would move back. His defense was clearly weaker than Chen Zhao. This gave Tiger some confidence. Perhaps he was not as weak as he had thought. Tiger began to attack Zanla actively, but he immediately realized that it was a mistake. Zanla Douglas sneered in his mind. Tiger was new, after all, and took the bait so easily. At the instant Tiger attacked, Zanla Douglas accurately hit Tiger's chin with an uppercut. Right away, Tiger took a few steps backward, his teeth almost all broken. It was a very powerful punch. Zanla Douglas used all his strength. Indeed, his punch was more than 100 kilograms heavy. If a normal person was hit, he or she would almost certainly have a concussion. Tiger was still in confusion and unable to react. Zanla Douglas attacked again. This time, he punched Tiger's eye. Below the ring, Eradicate smiled and said, "Ha, what a weakling. That's Mr. Douglas. He got the gold belt before." This big guy thought that he can fight with Mr. Douglas just because of his size. What an idiot. Mr. Douglas once KO'd a 2.05 meters boxer in one punch. The people from UC San Francisco were all gloating. On the other side, the UCLA students were very worried. Tiger's gonna be killed. Douglas is too strong. Tiger can't possibly win. Tiger should surrender now. He shouldn't be persisting. Actually, it was not that Tiger did not want to surrender. He could not even speak now. Zanla Douglas was way stronger than him. Tiger could not open his mouth. There was no judge in the match, and so nobody to stop the fight. Tiger's face had long deformed and his consciousness was also blurring, his body about to collapse at any time. He was still instinctively protecting his head with his hands, which had already lost their function. Eradicate made a throat-slash sign at Zanla Douglas. A ferocious smile appeared on Zanla Douglas' face. After charging his attack for 3 seconds, his fist landed on Tiger's arms. Crack! Everyone heard the sound of bones cracking. Tiger's arms deformed entirely as he fell backward and hung on the ropes, losing consciousness. "You're so weak." Uninjured, Zanla Douglas stood before Tiger. "I've just finished my warm-up, and it's already over. What a boring match. Is there no one in UCLA who can fight?" Eradicate scanned around him, as if he had just won the fight. Those originally indignant members of the boxing club all avoided Eradicate's eyes. They were furious, but they were not stupid. They did not want to become Tiger, who had almost been crippled. A student from UC San Francisco was holding a DV and said to the submitted students, "Come, friends from LA, smile. Say loudly that you're all wimps." "Haha. All right. Stop putting our friends in a difficult position," Eradicate said, smiling. "By the way, where did that person go? Anyone?" "Coach, maybe he found out that we're coming for him and hid in advance." "Very likely. He's nothing but a coward," Eradicate said, pleased. As the winners, they could mock those from UCLA as much as they wanted. "Are you talking about me?" they heard an abrupt voice. Everyone turned to look at the door. Chun Zhao was standing at the door with a cold face. "So you didn't run? You still dare to appear? Why did you hide until now?" Eradicate looked at Chun Zhao. Chun Zhao walked past the crowd. He entered the ring and carried Tiger onto the floor. At the moment, Tiger had already entered a deep coma. One of his eyes was blind. All his teeth were crushed, and he even had comminuted fractures in both arms. Judging from his injuries, his career had ended before it even started. He needed at least 3 years to recover, not to mention that one of his eyes was blind. It was too cruel for a young man. "It's you." When Zanla Douglas saw Chun Zhao, the arrogance on his face vanished. "I heard that you want to have another fight with me," Chun Zhao said. "I just had one. I'm tired." Chun Zhao glanced at Zanla Douglas, after which he said to the student holding the DV, "Come here." "What? You want to beat me up? It's no longer your territory. Mr. Douglas is right here. I want you to turn the camera to your hero, Mr. Douglas." Chun Zhao said emotionlessly, "Douglas, if you don't want to fight with me, fine. Just kneel down and admit that your dog's hit." "Asian, you think I'm afraid of you?" Zanla Douglas roared. Chun Zhao took off Tiger's gloves, wore them and fastened them with his teeth. Then, he said to the students from the boxing club, "Carry Tiger down the ring." "Can Mr. Chun do it?" "He can't possibly win, Douglas. Their sizes are too different." The members of the boxing club discussed softly. Nobody thought Chun Zhao could win. Chapter 350, Call a Few More Ambulances. Chapter 350, Call a Few More Ambulances. Mr. Douglas, disable him. Mr. Douglas, don't have any mercy. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. The UCSF students were all cheering below the ring. On the other hand, the UCLA students were all silent. However, none of them saw Douglas' expression. Right now, his face had unprecedented seriousness. He and Chun Zhao had fought before and he'd lost. When he did secret boot training later, he always imagined Chun Zhao as his opponent. He wanted revenge every second of the day. The chance was finally here. It was sooner than he'd expected, but he wouldn't back down. Come on. Chun Zhao and Zanla Douglas stood face to face. It was like a lamb facing a tiger. No one thought that Chun Zhao could win. They were too different, and no one could see any hope. Earlier, they thought that Tiger and Douglas were more similar in figure and could take some hits. However, Tiger had lost miserably. He couldn't even last 3 minutes. Chun Zhao wasn't even a professional boxer. Could he last a minute before Douglas? No, he probably couldn't even last 30 seconds. He might be KO'd instantly. The instant the match began, Chun Zhao's eyes finally flashed with a cruel light. Douglas immediately raised his arms, protecting his face. Chun Zhao didn't plan on going easy. He punched directly, smashing Douglas' arms. Crack. The audience wasn't unfamiliar with this sound. It was the sound of bone shattering. They also saw blood and pieces of boxing glove, as well as Douglas who flipped backward. Chun Zhao chased forward and slammed down on Douglas' chin. He was sent into the air, flying out of the barriers. He fell down the ring and couldn't get back up. It was deathly silent. No one could make a single sound. Chun Zhao took off his gloves and tossed them on Douglas. In the boxing ring, this action was extremely humiliating. If someone did this before the match, it meant the following match would be to the death. Right now, no one spoke. They saw that one of the gloves had a hole in it. Chun Zhao came down from the ring. Call the ambulance, he told the boxing club. A few of them. Then he walked toward the UCSF crowd. Everyone took a step back. No one dared to face Chun Zhao. No one wanted to face this human-shaped monster. You're called Eradicate, right? Don't mess around, Eradicate said, pretending to be strong. If you dare hurt me, I'll call the cops. I heard you say earlier that no one at UCLA can fight. This is the boxing club. Even if you call the cops, I'll just have to pay a few hundred in medical bills. Chun Zhao ended nonchalantly. I can prove that this Mr. Eradicate challenged UCLA first. Me too. I can prove it too. Let's go. We'll solve this problem in the rings. You can't do this. You barbarian. I'm not going. I'm not going. A student was about to run. Chun Zhao whistled, and the escaping student ran back in panic. Bear, bear. There's a bear. Princess blocked the entrance, terrifying everyone. The boxing club members were all right. After all, Princess wasn't a rare guest. They'd more or less heard of her rumors. It was different for the UCSF students, though. They didn't know about this creature's existence at all. Even when sprawled on the ground, Princess was 1.6 meters tall. If she stood up, she would be over 3.5 meters. She could practically touch the ceiling. With such a huge body blocking the door, not a single crack was left open. Now, you all either come fight me or go face her, Chun Zhao said, pointing at Princess. Now, make a choice. Roar. Princess' roar was a wave of sound. Everyone covered their ears. This was the strongest carnivore on land. There were 2 choices before the UCSF students. If they faced Chun Zhao, they would definitely be disabled. If they faced Princess, they would die. I can make it easier. You all can come together and don't have to follow boxing rules. I wasn't planning on following the rules with you either. Eradicate and the others had a shred of hope. After all, they had strength in numbers. Chun Zhao was alone. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't fend off so many people at once. You said it. We have so many people. There's nothing to be scared of. Let's go. 3 minutes later, all the UCSF students were on the ground with bruised faces. Eradicat's arm was broken. He was still cradling his arm, wailing in pain. Chun Zhao had gotten some kicks and punches, but he didn't feel anything. "Is the ambulance still not here?" he asked. "Al? Almost," someone from the boxing club answered. Right now, Chun Zhao had transformed into a monster. All these people had been knocked down by him. They suspected that even if there was twice as many people, they still wouldn't be Chun Zhao's match. Chun Zhao went to stabilize Tiger's condition. Other things could be taken care of later. His injuries couldn't worsen. As for Douglas with a similar condition, Chun Zhao didn't care at all. Finally, the ambulance came, but the school representatives also arrived. "Can someone tell me what happened?" Wright asked, pointing at all the injured people. "UCSF students wanted to have a friendly match with our boxing club," Chun Zhao said nonchalantly. "But they seem to be from the swim team." "Bullshit," a balding middle-aged man yelled. "My students have a match in 2 days. Why would they come to your boxing club for a friendly match?" "Mrs. Wright, you and your students must give me an explanation. Otherwise, I'll report it to the police." Wright glanced at Chun Zhao, who handed her a DV. "My explanation is in there." "Oh, if you want to call the cops, you better hurry up. My time is precious." Wright watched the content in the DV for a while without speaking. Then she handed it to the balding man. "Mr. Burke, take a look. If you wish it, I don't mind calling the police." The balding man had a strange expression after watching it. What could he say? His students came to provoke them but lost and were creamed. It didn't even matter who was responsible. Merely the result was humiliating. It may even affect UCSF's reputation. The video content definitely could not be exposed. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.